Sun Belt Conference football on ESPN from one of the most majestic venues in all of college football. From high atop Howard Knob, you look down on one of the places to play in the G5. Appalachian State, their home opener, coming off a drubbing of Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. They've got the pomp and circumstance ready to roll for the first-year head coach Dowell Loggins' debut at Kid Brewer Stadium. The Lindenwood Lions are the opponent today here at the Rock as the Mountaineers take the field looking for their first 2-0 start since 2019. A pleasant good afternoon to you from the Rock, Kid Brewer Stadium. I'm David Jackson alongside Avery Hall. We are glad to bring you Appalachian State football once again. Mountaineers, Avery, got off to a great start down at the Bank on Friday night.
I tell you, totally different football team than the team that played in 2024. They were effective on offense, effective on defense, great on special teams. Great start for the Mountaineers.
The Lindenwood Lions came into this year with a lot of excitement around their season, winning 4 straight to close the year last year. Stubbed their toe on the road at St. Thomas up in St. Paul. So they've got some feeling out to do, trying to get Jed Stugart's program their first win of the 2025 season. They are playoff eligible out of the OVC Big South, and they have ratcheted expectations there in St. Charles, Missouri. A packed house here at the Rock. It's a sellout, number 12 in a row, and they have been here since the start, tailgating in the very wee hours of the morning, ready for what should be a fantastic home opening atmosphere here at Kid Brewer Stadium. The Mountaineers will receive the opening kickoff. App State was able to benefit, Avery, from fundamental play to start that Charlotte game. It really started from the defensive side of the ball. Today we're going to see if the offense can set the tone.
I tell you what, you started with the defense. The defense played extremely well. If you look at all the buckets that you need to fill defensively to say that you're a success, they did it. They shut them down on third down. They actually kind of shut down the running game, put pressure on the quarterback. Pretty good start. Offensively, they did very, very well. Obviously, A.J. Swan had a good football game. The running game was present. And again, the offensive line, being such a new group, played extremely well together.
Will Graham will kick things off for the Lions of Lindenwood. Again, if you are unfamiliar with Lindenwood University out of St. Charles, Missouri, about 30 minutes outside of St. Louis. We'll talk more about their program, one that is on the rise a little later today. Graham's kickoff away. Kamani Alexander from the doorstep of the end zone, and we are underway at the Rock. Alexander up to the 25, full head of steam, and tripped up finally at the 27. So Appalachian State will come out on offense with the reigning Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week. A.J. Swan graded out pretty well in his debut as the Mountaineer QB in the win over Charlotte.
I tell you, he played extremely well. You know, a lot of people talk about the prowess around the passing game, but he did well with his feet, creating plays when he needed to when the play had broken down. He averaged 6.2 yards per carry, 25 yards rushing, but threw the ball well horizontally and vertically the entire ball game.
You see 368 passing yards for him. 3 touchdowns as he's going to go up top early on. He's got a man open. That's Stroman on the catch. 20-yard line. 1 man to beat. 1 pass. Touchdown, black and gold.
Wow. I tell you what, that was a great play. You had great protection by the offensive line. You had A.J. Swan. Take a look here. He's reading preset, snap, and then he knows where he's going with that football. The defender falls down. Stroman does a great job of concentrating on the ball and taking it to the house.
Mason Jones was the defender back. As he slipped up, Stroman was able to haul it in. What was a career best 77-yard reception with the opening play of the ball game. That's how you started out. Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator, along with head coaching duties, 1 play, pay dirt. Not a bad way to start it.
It's a great way to start. And most people who know Dowell Loggins, his history, they know that he wants to run the football, but he's not afraid to take the top off the defense. Again, if you look at this play here, just great protection by the offensive line. They were rushing 5. They had 4. They showed 4 down linemen, but actually rushed 5. Good protection. That's isolation blocking. 5 linemen, 5 men block. Good throw, good catch, touchdown Appalachian State.
William Fowles doing some blocking there. That was one of the things that Dow Logan said in his press conference this week, that this is an offensive style that he would like to throw early to run late. You throw to get the lead, you run to win. And that was one of those points of emphasis that really came to life there in the opening play.
Well, I mean, and you know, if you look at last week, I mean, you don't want to kind of take the Pollyanna approach early in this football game, but he does a good job running the ball, but will go, like I said, go over top when he has to. He does a great job of putting players in the right position to be successful, whether it's throwing, you know, the underneath pass to the receiver in space and allowing him to get some yard after catch, or giving it to the Binion. He seems to schematically call the right plays at the right time.
72 yards in the books. So Stroman didn't best his longest catch of his career, but he'll take it nonetheless. App State on the board, one play in. Kickoff away by Cash McVay, one of the underrated heroes of week one. Now 7 touchbacks for the redshirt senior kicker out of Anaheim, and Lindenwood will go to work offensively. This is a Lindenwood offense that moved it well last week. They ran 33 plays that gained 185 yards on their first 3 drives against St. Thomas. No points at all. Missed 3 field goals, a lot of red zone inefficiency for Jet Stugart's club in week one.
And Stugart talked about that a lot. He wants to have his team to continue to work on finishing plays. He also wants to work on competing and work on a little bit of their effort this week as they traverse into this football game. But he's got a young team. They've got some rebuilding and some work to do, but he's up for the task.
Nate Glantz, 6'2" redshirt senior. One of 4 stops on his football journey. He hands off to Steve Hall, who's on the Peyton Award watch list this year. For those of you App State fans that remember Armani Edwards trophy case, he's got a couple of those Peyton Awards, and Steve Hall in that mix. He needs 122 yards today for 1,000 for his career. Redshirt sophomore out of St. Louis dropped for a loss on the first play. It'll be 2nd and 13 for Lindenwood from their own 22-yard line. A lot of excitement. The natives, well, you pay for a ticket, you go tailgate all day long. You like to see one play in points. And a defense that is looking to capitalize once again on their strong start. Fundamental tackling. That was probably one of the buzz phrases about DJ Smith's defensive debut as coordinator at App State, and the way that his team carried out the assignment. Haul back to near the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 11 for Lindenwood. Last week, the Lions really struggled on 3rd downs. Only 4 conversions in the entire game, 4 of 12. While App State was pretty solid against 3rd down defense. 28.5%, 4 of 14 were the Charlotte 49ers against App State and that DJ Smith-led defense last week.
One thing this Appalachian defense is doing right now, DJ, they're doing a pretty good job of tackling, and that's outside of being lined up correctly and taking care of gap responsibility.
Glantz with the shotgun snap, quick release, and a pass complete down the near sideline. Catch made by Jared Rhodes out of the backfield, and Lindenwood moves the chains on 3rd down and long. That was an area that last year, that App State defense was always seeming to give up those long conversion plays. Looked like they had gotten that under wraps in the first game, not so much on their first 3rd down
think
conversion.
Think about that. They're in man coverage. Somebody had a busted coverage and didn't take the running back coming off to the boundary side of the field out in the flats wide open, so busted coverage on that play.
1st and 10, Lindenwood. Glantz goes with the quick strike and picks up nearly 10. Rico Bond, the redshirt freshman out of East St. Louis, he actually played on the same high school team as backup quarterback Pops Battle. 3 catches, 27 yards in the opener for Bond. His first grab this afternoon makes it a 7-yard pickup, 2nd down and 3 from just over the midfield stripe. Lindenwood trying to drive after going down 7 on their opening defensive possession. Glantz last week, 18 of 29 in the passing game. 318 yards and a touchdown. But Lindenwood just couldn't get out of their own way. Here's Rhodes again, right side. Runs into the wall of App State defenders. The ball pops loose. And an offensive lineman is the one that hops on it.
That was a generous bounce for
Eli
Lindenwood.
Freeman. Yeah, Eli Freeman maintained possession. So it moves the chains for Lindenwood. Lions 1st down at the App State 45.
Dave, as you mentioned, watching them last week against St. Thomas, they were able to move the football from the 30 to the 30, but just when they got down inside, deep into the Tommies territory, they just couldn't finish. So let's see if today if they can finish a drive.
Aaron Fugett, the offset tight end, comes to a stop near side. Handoff goes to Rhodes, looking for some blocking. Gets the corner and then gets plowed into the sideline. Dylan Manuel in pursuit there for App State. Mountaineers have changed the defensive look. If you're looking at this schematically and say, well, this looks a little bit different. A multiple approach is what the official stance is, but a lot more 4-2-5 look out of DJ Smith. And that's really playing to personnel. Felt like they had a little bit more in the defensive line room than linebackers, so wanted to go with that adjustment. And that's kind of where DJ's bread and butter has been as a coach, regardless. 2nd and 6. Gantz with good protection. Heaving toward the sideline again. He's got a man. That's Bond again with a catch inside. Oh no, it's blocked away. It's popped away at the last second. Zaire Gamble got a hand in there. Otherwise, Rico Bond has a catch inside the 5. And that was Lindenwood offensively last week. You get a little closer to the red zone, they just could not execute.
They could not execute. And I would think if you take a look here, Nate does a good job of reading the coverage and putting that ball exactly where really Bonds should have caught that football, but good last-minute pop by the defender there to jar that ball loose. Dylan. Take a look there. Good defender. He was beaten, so let me go ahead and lay a little wood and try and knock that ball loose, and he did so.
There's glance on 3rd down. A little bit more pressure coming this time. Releases one down the field, and that ball's picked off. DJ Burks bringing it back to the 30-yard line and run out of bounds. Mountaineers take it away, and another turnover in tight territory for Lindenwood.
Another turnover, another blown drive. But if you take a look here, the mistake that Nate Glantz, a 6'2", 210-pound redshirt senior, he's played a lot of football. He knows better, but if you take a look on this particular throw, he stares down that receiver the entire time, which gives the safety time to rotate over. And that free safety's like, look, I'm not letting anybody behind me, and he picks it off.
DJ Burks took the party all the way back over to the App State sideline. First career interception for Burks, the redshirt junior out of Maryville, Tennessee. One of the top grade outs for football IQ on the entire roster. And as Avery said, he played that just perfectly. Here's Rashad Dubinion, his first run at the Rock. Takes him up across the 40-yard line, near a first down gain for Dubinion, who touched it 27 times a week ago. Rushed for 111, caught 5 passes for 31 yards. He is capable of running behind his pads, contact balance. You heard that phrase a couple of times on the broadcast last week. Low center of gravity, and he can run through a pile. Does so there for the first down up to the 48-yard line, and the Mountaineers will move the chains.
I tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit, David Jackson, to Shamar Jackson, the 6'3", 295-pound left guard. On down the line, Will Flowers, Trent Ramsey, Tyreek Poindexter. These guys have gelled quickly. A lot of these guys are newcomers to the team. They've gelled quickly. They're blocking well together. But I will tell you, Dubinion is running really hard. He runs bigger than someone who's 210. He runs like he's about 240 pounds.
Behind the pads runner as App State gets whistled for the false start. Mountaineers had the 4th most penalty yards of any team in the country last week. Something that Dowell Loggins said as he was hugging his family. He said that it was on his mind already. We got to clean up penalties. Like, coach, celebrate the win first, then think about penalties. There's a pass bobbled around. I don't think they'll call that a catch or not. Jaden Barnes, the intended target across the middle. And Swan will take it back on 2nd down and long.
I tell you, it was actually a good read by Swan. If you take a look at it, they're in a odd front relative to the defensive line, but a lot of DBs have shifted over. But he did a good job of leading Barnes on that throw. That's a catch he's got to make if he wants to continue to be productive.
Isaiah Cummings, the tight end, coming across. And that's where Swan will go. Cummings with the grab across midfield. And App State will have a 3rd and manageable here offensively. Mountaineers on 3rd down last week, 7 of 15. Really got that going more so in the second half, 4 of 7. The Mountaineers here 60% on 3rd down conversions as they pulled away from the 49ers at Bank of America Stadium. 3rd down and 5. Swan trying to get the conversion here and keep the drive alive. Dominion picks up the blitz, and the pass thrown at the feet of Barnes out on the far sideline. So the Mountaineers in tricky field position, may go for it here on 4th down. Haven't quite gotten a chance to see yet if Dowell Loggins has got that riverboat feel to it, you know?
I think he does. I think he's a type coach. If he intuitively feels that he has an advantage, he'll go for it here. And I will tell you, they've moved the football. That was just a poor throw by Swan, which he didn't do too often last week, so we'll see what happens here.
Dowell Loggins said 4th down conversions will be more about feel rather than the numbers. Play clock down to 2. Swan gets it late. 4th down and 5. Looking down the sideline, got Stroman again. Repeat offender to the end zone. Touchdown, Mountaineers.
Wow. What I mean, just great protection up front. Great touch on the ball. Great catch. He's definitely kind of gotten some consistency, some rhythm with Stroman. And Stroman's coming off a big ball game last week where he caught 8 catches, 88 yards. But good throw by A.J. Swan.
We haven't played 10 minutes yet already. Dalton Stroman with 2 catches for 119 yards and a pair of touchdowns. His second career 100-yard game.
You know, everybody's going to celebrate the quarterback and the receiver, but again, great job by the big guys up front in protecting A.J. Swan. That's one of those throws where you know, back in the day, you'd get under center, you step 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop. That's a 5-step drop that you need enough time to get that ball to the receiver. They gave him plenty of time to get that ball off and get it to his Stroman.
Stoppage of play here. We are under review as it indeed looks. Here's Jeremy Parker. Kind of shades of last week. That ball came loose as Stroman carried the football across the goal line. We'll let him look at it. We'll tell you how it all goes when we get back here at the Rock. App State trying to be up 2 touchdowns on Lindenwood. We are back at Kim Brewer Stadium. David Jackson, Avery Hall with you. You see the score 7-0. App State with points taken off the board. The official result of the replay was that the call was reversed. The ball popped out prior to the goal line. This is 2 straight weeks. Avery Hall, what'd you see?
You know, you got a situation where great catch, but the defender does not give up, knocks the ball out. prior to him crossing the goal line, which results in a touchback. That's just a hustle play by number 7. You called his name, I think, Jaden Patrick. But good hustle play on Jaden's part.
Stroman cradled that ball up against his chest, but Patrick's hand came up and knocked it out just prior to the goal line. So that's 2 touchdowns in consecutive weeks that App State has had negated because of possessing across the goal line. Nate Glantz on the keep. Picked up a yard, maybe 2. Lindenwood on their opening drive moved the ball 33 yards before the interception thrown by Glantz to DJ Burks inside the 10. Lindenwood was not in an official red zone capacity, but last week they were 1 of 5 in red zone opportunities. 2nd down and 8. Glantz in the gun. Rhodes' protection. Rolling out with pressure. That ball thrown in and out of the hands of his intended target. That's the tight end, Fugett, coming across. That's 3rd down and 9 coming up. Talking to Jed Stugart, he said that these kind of atmospheres, you have a tough game against St. Thomas last week. You come to the Rock this week. They've got to go to Charleston Southern next week. These are the kinds of atmospheres that are going to test you if you want to be a playoff team.
He said if you're going to be a playoff team, you have to play well on the road. And I will tell you, he talked a lot about his team competing and playing with a lot of effort. I would say up until this point, Lindenwood's playing with a lot of fight. They just may not have the depth, but they've got some pretty good football players on their 2-deep chart.
Jared Rhodes near sideline, couldn't hold it in. And he could feel the footsteps of DJ Burks coming to him on that Mountaineer sideline. So the 3rd down conversion goes for naught. And App State forces a punt on 3 and out.
I will tell you, Lindenwood sees something on that backside boundary side because Appalachian State says that they're in man-to-man coverage, which is forcing Lindenwood into some tough situations on the previous 2 plays. But they found something here. Take a look. Number 7, he sees and understands they're in man-to-man coverage, and he knows that safety can't get out there quick enough. He catches that. He still runs for maybe a 1st down. But they figure something out on that backside that we'll have to make an adjustment to.
A.J. Vinatieri to punt the football away for Lindenwood. He is the son of longtime NFL kicker Adam Vinatieri. Flag down on the play, looks like maybe roughing the kicker as App State went hard for the block.
I hope it's running into, but it may be roughing. Take a look. It may be running into because it looked like he may have been blocked.
Jeremy Parker's call is roughing the kicker. Personal foul called against App State. And we'll sort it out. No, we will stay right here as Lindenwood will get new life.
So this penalty really will help Lindenwood from a field position perspective because they were going to be pretty much backed up. Now they've got a 1st down and have the ball and have probably a little more real estate to work with. Only have to go 64 yards versus when they were backed up on the 20. So good field position from Lindenwood due to that penalty.
Dowell Loggins saying that one of the chief kind of responsibilities of the coaching staff this week, clean up penalties. They had 9 of them last week. A couple of key miscues, penalties, and again the points that came off the board probably got the head coach of the Mountaineers rubbing the forehead a little bit here in the 1st quarter. Here's Rhodes trying to get the corner left, and he runs into a wall of App State defenders. Dylan Manuel, the sophomore transfer out of Charleston Southern, Lindenwood's opponent next week. His former coach called him a game wrecker. He's a guy that, playing from the defensive tackle position, has got quite a bit of side-to-side lateral movement. Known for getting in the backfield at previous stops. He gets a tackle for loss there of 2 yards on Jared Rhodes.
He moves well to be a big man. He's 6'1", 300 pounds, and he got down the line pretty well, maintaining gap responsibility.
Manuel was offered out of high school by App State, also a big baseball player in high school. Ends up with the Mountaineers after some time with the Bucks down in Charleston. Gantz running out of pressure, maybe picks up a yard. And it'll be 3rd down and 8. Give him 2 on the play. Gets back across the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down and long coming up for Lindenwood.
Appalachian brought pressure on that particular play. And if the linebacker could have just stayed on his feet, he probably would have had a sack there, because nobody stayed home to block it. You had 5 linemen trying to block the 4 linemen that showed before they sent the linebacker. So if he could have stayed on his feet, he would have had a sack there.
Haven't seen Steve Hall since the opening drive. Jared Rhodes back in there as the protection back on 3rd down and 8. Here's Glantz rolling out. Got a little bit of room, flag coming on the play. That's probably a hold as Glantz across the 40-yard line gets tripped up and hold everything here.
I'm not so sure if that was, Sean Collins on that left side away from the press box here, but it looks like he got held. It was a pretty clear hold on that wide side of the field there.
Jeremy Parker's been busy here in the first quarter. App State will decline the penalty, take the results of the play. Darren Fouquet was the penalized player for the Lions.
Take a look here. He's rolling out. And, yeah, I mean, it's really clear that wasn't Sean Collins. That was actually Kevin Abrams-Wayne, but it was real clear he grabbed jersey on that one.
Kevin Abrams-Verwain, a 7th-year player. Been around long enough to run for town council twice.
He's been around longer than his lane, right?
That's right. Vinatieri to punt again from just inside the 30-yard line. We'll take a sideways bounce out at the 25, and App State will have the football when we come back from this timeout. 7-0, App State on top of Lindenwood here at the home opener, Kid Brewers Stadium in Boone. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. If you are not lucky enough, like those two fans, to be right here at Kid Brewer Stadium on just an electric game day at the Rock, 7-0 start for App State. One bit of scorekeeping to go back and give you. As Dalton Stroman's touchdown was wiped off the board, he still gets credit for receiving yards. He basically fumbled out of bounds at the 1. So Stroman, 2 catches, 118 yards, 129 yards passing for Swan here in the opening portion of the game. Dubinion trying to say, hey, give it to the running backs. We can do something with it too. Across midfield goes Dubinion. And the Mountaineers in Lion territory, 1 touch into their 3rd drive.
Good job by Dubinion getting to the edge. Great job by the tackle sealing the edge. And then good vision as he was running down the field with that nice little cutback to get additional yards.
Play action this time for Dubinion. Swan will take off. Sidestep at the 45-yard line. Positive progress gets him there. So a 4-yard pickup for Swan. Let's check out Rashad Dubinion again. 3 times he's been better than 100 yards rushing in his career. Of course, he got his first App State appearance in that regard last week. Shifty,
but he runs so big, and he runs like a bigger back than he is.
Barnes on the reverse, trying to go back the other way. Nice spin move out of 1, 2 tackles. And gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Jaden Barnes on punt returns last week. When he gets east-west, he gets really happy, choppy feet. When he runs north-south, he is so quick, he's hard to catch.
He is, but
in an open field race.
But I'm sure Coach Loggins will kind of coach him up a little more and kind of encourage him to run north towards the end zone than a lot of the dancing, because a lot of times you're going to end up where you end up, but get some yardage out of it.
3rd down and 6. Nice pass across the middle. 1st down gain to the 30-yard line. As Swan dials up William Fowles for the first time today. Fowles had a couple of catches for 30 yards last week for the win over Charlotte.
Very productive, but what Fowles will learn on that next throw like that, A.J. Swan did a fantastic job of positioning that ball, DJ, where Fowles could catch it and continue to run, and he'd probably still be running, but he second-guessed himself when he felt a little pressure from the DB, and he cuts back a little bit, which slows him down. But if he continues to run, he'd probably still be running. So well-thrown ball by A.J. Swan, great catch, but continue to run where the quarterback's leading.
Lindenwood called a timeout. App State going quick tempo, and that was one of the things that Jed Stugart said that he knew his team would have to deal with. So the head coach of the Lions electing to burn a timeout here with 4:10 remaining in the opening quarter. App State has put their foot on the gas from an offensive perspective here. Swan throwing the football, but pretty good balance there. 144 yards in the air, creeping into that rushing game now. And that goes back to the philosophy that we talked about earlier, that Dowell Loggins shared earlier this week, of pass to get your quarterback established and in some sort of rhythm, and then use the run to ice things. That's the put-away move that he would like to see his team develop into their signature swagger, if you will.
And looking at the evidence from the last 2 games, they've done a great job of doing that. Not only with passing vertically, but look at the number of passes horizontally. I mean, A.J. Swan last week, DJ, he was 20 of 27 for passes behind the line of scrimmage up to the 9-yard line or 10 yards out, and he was just highly effective.
Swan, great check down, finds his target, Kanan Hamlet. A rare non-touchdown catch for Hamlet here at the Rock. Inside the 15-yard line, he's in the red zone of the 14, 1st and 10 App State.
I think last year he was 2 of 2.
He had 3 catches at the Rock, 2 of them for
touchdowns. So he's the touchdown machine. But he did a great job of finding an open space in the zone and hunkering down once he caught the football.
4 wide on 1st and 10 inside the red zone. App State perfect in red zone scoring opportunities last week. Slide and grab, and that's rolled a touchdown. Mountaineers put it in the end zone again as Jaden Barnes slides across, and the Apps get that elusive second score.
I tell you what, A.J. Swan, he's had a few questionable throws, but 99.9% of his throws have been right on the money, where they needed to be, so that the receiver can catch the football and the defender can't. Good touch on the throw, and once again, great protection up front by the big guys on that Appalachian State offensive line.
Swan to Barnes has developed itself into a very nice 1-2 combo, if you will, from an offensive perspective. Barnes had 6 catches for 134 yards last week. He's got 2 catches for 11 and a touchdown.
But he's 5'8", 170 pounds. He plays bigger because he has a big heart, a lot of confidence, but he's so shifty and moves around really well and finding the right place to park to catch the football. And he's just big enough that he gives A.J. the nice target to throw to.
Dominic DeFreitas to kick the PAT. So the Mountaineers go 6 plays, 75 yards, and 227 here in the first quarter. DeFreitas was perfect last week. He boots another one through the uprights. Timeout on the field. 3:32 to go in the opening quarter. App State starting to flex a little muscle. Up 2 scores here at Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone. Dowell Loggins soaking in the atmosphere here at Kid Brewer Stadium. His team up 14-0. He got a little opportunity to give a preview of this week's game to the Community Leaders Breakfast hosted by Chancellor Heather Norris earlier this week inside Kid Brewer Stadium. About 100 people there, App State's Board of Trustees, a lot of community leaders. Coach Loggins not only talking about the start down in Charlotte, kind of gave us the post-game wrap-up, if you will, but talked a lot about bringing his family into this community. Of course, coaches, when they get the call, they've got to move quickly, and a lot of times that means somebody like Coach Loggins. He was up here by himself for a while before his family was able to get settled here, but he talked about how hospitable everybody has been. He's got kids at Hardin Park and Watauga High School. He got everything kind of set up. They were playing summer sports up here, and he really appreciated the fact that this community, this high country community, took them in and immediately welcomed them. So it was great for him to be able to deliver that to a group of business leaders and law enforcement, all of the folks in the room. He really shared some thanks from the heart for him and his family getting established. And I'll tell you what, if he puts points up on the board like this, they will roll out the red carpet for him all over town, I'm sure. 14-0 App State out to the early lead. Defense has been adjusting well. A little bit harder for Lindenwood to move after their opening drive. Avery Hall, where they saw the turnover bug deep inside of App State territory, bite him once again.
Appalachian's doing a good job of, one, you got 7 gaps to defend. And then, of course, you got coverage, and they're just doing a good job up front with those 7 gaps, not only with the defensive linemen and staying in their gap responsibility, but stringing it out and running down the line to make plays. But the linebackers are doing a good job of coming in and filling the gap when Nate tries to keep the ball and run it, which he's done multiple times here today.
Gantz, good pocket presence, slings one down the field as incomplete, intended for Darren Fugett, the tight end again. I have one of those elder statesmen on this Lindenwood roster, graduated back in May, 4 catches, 56 yards in the opener.
Yeah, good job by DJ Burks. You really want to turn around a little bit on that coverage to when you see that wide receiver's eyes get big and he starts to stretch, you want to kind of at least take a look back to see where the ball is, but good overall coverage by DJ there.
Lindenwood just 1 of 4 on 3rd downs thus far. Gantz with pressure coming, flags everywhere, and Gantz is leveled at the line of scrimmage. Dylan Manuel getting to him again. That could be a hold against the Lions, and App State will get another strong defensive showing.
You know, Lindenwood had, you know, a tight end in to help because they saw where Appalachian face masked by Lindenwood. But Lindenwood saw that Appalachian was going to bring 5 defensive linemen, so they left a tight end. Take a look here. They see where Appalachian's rushing the 4-down lineman, and the outside guy comes as well. And Appalachian just does a great job of refusing to be, each defensive lineman refused to be isolated, blocked by isolation. If it's one-on-one, you've got to get back at there and put pressure on the quarterback, and the defensive line did just that.
Great job by Brayshawn Littlejohn out of the linebacking core as well, rushing toward the passer, making him step up. And
that's exactly
tackle
right.
For loss by Dylan Manuel. So App State's got it dialed in defensively here late first quarter, trying to get the football back. As Vinatieri will punt from inside his own 5. Tight spiraling punt. Jaden Barnes behind his own 40. Now goes north-south and takes off with some running room inside his own 40 to the 32-yard line. Mountaineers with excellent field position in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter.
DJ, I have to admit something. Every time I watch, you know, Barnes run, I can't help but think about in 2022 when he was playing at Langston Hughes High School in Atlanta, Georgia. His high school played my high school, Gainesville High, the Red Elephants, and he had a phenomenal football game in that state championship game. So every time I see him breaking and making plays for Appalachian, I'm having flashbacks of Georgia high school
football. You're
football.
going to have to let that go. He's a Mountaineer just like you were.
He's a Mountaineer now. I'm glad he's on our team this time.
You know, his birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday, young man.
Happy birthday, Jaden Barnes.
But yeah, he's been a phenomenal football player for a long time. But again, I remember him back in that state championship game. But great job of finding a seam, and not only finding a seam, but making folks miss as he's getting to that seam.
So App State called for a penalty. Block in the back, I believe, was the call on the return. So Barnes will see that long punt return negated, and App State back to their own 30-yard line with 2:06 to go here in the opening quarter. Trying to keep this game moving. Rain is coming later. Be some smelly college students down there. You get all-day tailgating followed by a rain shower. Not good, Coach. See if we can get this thing wrapped up before then. Larkins in motion, App State back to work. Swan with the handoff out of the backfield again. Nice little bounce. Jakari Trigg-Lewis on his first run of the day out to midfield.
That was a good read by A.J. Swan. It's going back because of holding, it looks like. But he sent the tight end in motion. They were in trips, sent the tight end in motion to kind of see what the defense was going to do. They didn't really move, so we know you had 2 high safeties, so you got room inside to run, so good play call there. Take a look there. He gives it to him, knows he's got a lot of real estate to work with before those safeties come up. Even though it's going back, that was a good read by A.J. Swan.
Trigg-Lewis, a freshman running back you'll hear about quite a bit. 8 carries, 32 yards against Charlotte in the opener. He maintained his commitment during the coaching transition to App State. He was one of those latter portion of the season guys last year that stuck with Dowell Loggins and crew, and they know that they got a great offensive weapon in keeping Lewis amongst their signees. Jaden Barnes with the catch that gets App State back to their original line of scrimmage. So 2nd down and a long 9 coming up.
That was a lot of work by Barnes. He actually lined up as the outside receiver to the field side, motioned back to the inside, and caught it for like a 2-yard gain. That was a lot of work there.
Lewis splits out wide. 5 wide for A.J. Swan. Lots of time. Comes back toward the near side, and Barnes couldn't keep his feet. He had overrun the route anyway, so that'll bring up 3rd down and 9.
I'll tell you what, kudos to Lindenwood's secondary. They did a phenomenal job of covering for a long time because AJ, take a look. AJ had plenty of time to throw this football. So kudos to Lindenwood's secondary for the great coverage job.
Alex Dawkins in coverage there. Eric Ainama, the defensive coordinator for Lindenwood, saying he's one of the guys that they see a lot of promise in that defensive secondary. And here comes pressure from that defensive secondary, and down goes Swan.
They finally
Sanjay Strickland gets to him.
Strickland, man, that was a great timed rush. Take a look here. They show 4th down lineman. He comes at the, he looks like he's going to go off, but he comes at late. Just a great execution on that blitz there by Strickland. Good timing on his part.
Ian Ratliff, the redshirt sophomore out of Humboldt, Texas, just outside Houston, will punt it away inside his own 10. Best defensive look for Lindenwood all day long.
That was 2 really good plays because they had great secondary coverage on the previous play. Great blitz package there by Strickland.
Mountaineers will let the football roll. Ratliff will pin Lindenwood inside their own 30 with 26 seconds left in quarter number 1. You know, go back to Jed Stugart's comments a little bit. He knew that his team was coming into the most hostile environment that they've played in. This is the 2nd time that Lindenwood has played against an FBS opponent. They played against Kansas last year. They'll play Miami of Ohio. You remember from that waterlogged bowl game that App State had a few years ago. Play them at the end of September. They've got games against Eastern Michigan, Minnesota, another one against Kansas coming up, Oklahoma State in 2029. He said part of the commitment that he wants to see in his transitioning program is that you take those kind of opportunities, an opportunity like this one within reason, and use that to further fuel your program's growth. So he said, hey, yeah, you come on the road in a game like this, it's an atmosphere that everybody will enjoy, but you're looking for something out of it. You're looking for your team to be battle tested, and you're looking for your program to be able to advance forward. Lindenwood trying to check those boxes here this afternoon at Kid Brewer Stadium. App State still dialed up defensively as the first carry of the day for Laravius Woods. Gets him back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of a yard.
Going back to Stugart, obviously it's real clear he knows what he's doing, DJ, from Sioux Falls to Lindenwood. He's built a lot of programs. He's won 132 football games in 18 seasons, and he seems to do things in a very strategic and methodical manner. And I'll be candid, when we were talking to him, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Coach Moore in his style of coaching as well.
We'll talk more about that as we go on this afternoon. 1 quarter in the books. Mountaineers up 14-0 over Lindenwood here at the Rock. Cora Stadium, there's Jed Stugart, ninth-year head coach of Lindenwood. He's been at it for 19 years overall. This is the third time that he's taken a program through transition, as he has got Lindenwood up to full-fledged status as a playoff-eligible team out of the Ohio Valley Big South Conference. Past a Rico Bond complete up to the 40. Going back to Stugart for a second, though, as there's a flag on the play. He said that one of the things that he was really looking forward to about this trip was coming to the place where Jerry Moore was a head football coach. He met Coach Moore at an AFCA event several years ago and talked to him about building a playoff caliber tested football team, something that he's done well not only at Lindenwood but at Sioux Falls at Northern Colorado. Lots of parallels in the way they coach, their style, kind of that unapologetic, hey, we're going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust and do all of those traditional things that you think about good, deep-rooted Midwest football coaches. That's what Jerry Moore was. Jed Stugart hoping to catch up with Coach Moore while he was in town to continue their conversation, but kind of another one of those ways that football is a very, very small world. Penalty against Lindenwood will negate the catch. There's Fugit again, favorite target thus far of Nate Glantz. Glantz now 4 of 9 in the passing game. That'll take him up just around 50 yards for the afternoon. And that is the 6th time now, check that, 4th time that Fugit has been targeted. 3rd down and long coming up, though, for the Lions. This has been a familiar place, and they have not been converting. 1 of 5 on 3rd down today.
As you can see, Appalachian's going to rush 3 down linemen here. Got 2 safeties deep. Will probably allow some yardage underneath, but not much over top.
Glantz can't get out of the way. Kevin Abrams for Wayne bashes his way to the quarterback.
And that's one thing that Coach Stugart does not want to see. He does not want to see his 5 linemen not be able to block 3 down linemen. Take a look here, 5 guys, they slide protect, but Wayne Abrams just gets in there and makes a great play. Now, one thing about this Lindenwood offensive line, you've got a redshirt sophomore in Joshua Robinson, a redshirt sophomore in Nate Compare, and Art Swingle, the center's a redshirt freshman. Then you got another redshirt freshman at right guard, so they're young.
Only 1 returning player with many minutes from a year ago. Vinatieri's punt checks up, actually takes an App State bounce back toward midfield. Mountaineers win it near midfield when we come back from our first break here in quarter number 2. It's all Apps at the Rock. Kid Brewer Stadium, 14-0 App State. There you see the first-year head coach of the Mountaineers, Dowell Loggins, his first game here at Kid Brewer Stadium, leading the Mountaineer program. And you know, you can't get the QB out of him. He was a quarterback at Arkansas. He'll tell you that he was more of a holder. He was actually an accomplished holder at Arkansas. Had 18 total yards of offense as a quarterback. Completed one pass, had a long run as well that he told us about this week. But he was on the field before the game today, warming up like he was ready to play. I mean, he wasn't just tossing the ball 10 yards at a clip. He was back to, I think I counted off about 35 yards, and he had some juice on it.
Well,
some juice.
You know what people don't know, he was a quarterback, but what's really impressive, he was a walk-on quarterback at Arkansas who earned a scholarship. So that says a lot about your perseverance, your discipline, and your competitive spirit, because some people quit. They walk on and don't make a team after, you know, so long they quit. He earned a scholarship at Arkansas. Had a great coaching career. A lot of people like to really focus on the NFL, DJ, but he's coached 4 years now in college, 2 years at South Carolina, and then he was a tight ends coach at Arkansas back in 2021 through 23. So he seems to have a good grasp of college football right now.
Said Houston Nutt was not only his coach at Arkansas, but the one that really got him into the profession and thinking that he could be a football coach at some point in time. And Houston Nutt actually spent some time talking to the App State staff on Thursday prior to their opener Friday against Charlotte. Just kind of helping the staff understand what success looked like in week one. Thinking about things like substitutions and making sure your guys played hard, taking care of the football. Dowell Loggins texted Houston Nutt after the game and said, hey, I've got him believing now, not only his players, but his coaches, about a good, successful first week. So again, you kind of go back to those collegiate experiences sometimes, and the people that influenced your life, whether you're a football coach, whether that was your favorite professor or whatever, and you carry those life lessons. And Dowell Loggins was able to get one of his mentors, helping mentor his staff before that season opening win. Third down and short for App State. Swan trying to get the Mountaineers to extend this drive. They're near midfield. Kind of slowed a bit offensively from a finesse standpoint. Here's Swan going deep once again. He's got Barnes in stride. Tried to go back and catch it over the back shoulder of Eric Gant, but couldn't haul it in. Gant in coverage. The safety was able to match Barnes stride for stride.
I'd say Gant's one of their better secondary members. I mean, he's 6'1", 186, and if you take a look here, A.J. Swan he claps to trying to see if he can figure out what the defense is going to do. He takes the ball, nice timing throw here. Gant does a good job of when he sees those eyes get big. And I'm telling you, defensive backs can see when eyes get big, they see those hands start to come up. He just does a good job of converging on the receiver in a timely manner to circumvent pass interference.
Second time Mountaineers go for it on fourth down near midfield, and again they cannot capitalize. Lindenwood gets the stop. So it's the Lions with the football, down 2 scores at midfield when we come back to Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone. down stand for Lindenwood. The Lions with the football near midfield and an opportunity to chew into an App State 14-point advantage. Nate Glantz today, the QB for the Lions, 4 of 9 in the passing game for 40 yards. He's thrown for better than 300 in his last 2 games. If you go back to the season finale last year and the opener against St. Thomas last week, he went for 318. Lindenwood has struggled to deal with App State's pressure. The Mountaineers have gotten after, kind of from a timing disruption standpoint, this Lindenwood offensive line with some regularity from about midway through the first quarter on. So we'll see if Glantz and crew can shake that off, put together a drive. Bobbled snap. Glantz going to take off, make something out of nothing, and nearly runs for a first down. Low snap, and Nate Glantz said, hey, I'm a running QB.
Nate Glantz, actually, take a look here. The ball hits the ground. It's a bobble play, which actually aids him in kind of throwing the defense off a little bit, and it gives him enough room to run for about 7 or 8 yards of gain there.
There's an injury timeout on the field. Going back to Glantz, I think we could call that a poorly designed QB run. What that looks like.
you know, it poorly designed, and then at the same time, I'm sure the offensive coordinator, Hawarka, saying, man, that was perfectly drawn up. But again, you saw how when it hit the ground, it just threw the defense off, and he saw the hole in the middle of the field and just opted to run and get some yardage.
Thomas Davis, the injured Mountaineer,
take a look
off.
here. Again, when that ball hits the ground, it seems like they don't stop, but they all try to gather themselves, and it just provides a slither of room for him to get some yards for gains.
Glantz, from a family of runners, his dad played fullback for Tom Osborne in the early 90s at Nebraska. So maybe he dusted off some of his old man's game film and said, you know, I've seen this before. Take this and go this way. Pretty successful look as Lindenwood's inside Mountaineer territory for the second time today. Handoff goes to Rhodes, trying to get that left corner, and runs himself into a pile right back at the line of scrimmage. App State did a good job sealing the edge there. Colton Ferris amongst the tacklers on the boundary. Ferris, an interesting story, moved from safety to linebacker late last year, really flourished in that, and credits DJ Smith with a lot of coaching and saying, I'm learning from one of the best people to ever do it. He was the starting middle linebacker for the Packers, and now he's my position coach. Ferris really taking that to the film room and to his own development.
You know, when you say you move a player from safety to linebacker and he's excelling, that's what you call development. And that's why DJ Smith, I'm not just saying it because he's a Mountaineer, he's a winner, he can coach, and he can scheme.
Glantz going down the sideline, got a man, what a catch! Rico Bond goes up. Skies for one at the 16-yard line and puts Lindenwood in the red zone for the first time today. Check this ladder climb
Good job
again.
by the offensive line. Nice toss by Nate. But you know, the thing is, there's got to be somebody not communicating in the secondary, because that's 3 different plays, 3 different formations, but 3 plays where you've had a wide receiver wide open out in the flats.
Lindenwood 1 of 5 in the red zone last week. In there for the first time this week. Glantz, little screen pass out to Rhodes, trying to get the corner, and DJ Burks steps up and hits him. Burks drops him for a loss of 1. DJ Burks having a great game. Playing today for Elijah McCantos, at least here in the first half. McCantos and Jalen Willis both suffering from that targeting hangover, if you want to call it that.
Watch DJ, he does a good job of shedding the blocker here and then making a great open field tackle. And that's why safeties are special. These guys are special. They've got to take on big linemen at time. They've got to be able to cover wide receivers and tight ends, but they have to be able to tackle well in space.
Jared Rhodes, the protection back on 2nd and 11 from the Mountaineer 18. Glantz looking for someone across the middle. Instead, it's the dump to Rhodes again. Inside the 10, spins his way to the 7-yard line. Ferris trips him up there, and Lindenwood knocking on the door of a first down conversion inside the 10.
Nate Glantz has played a lot of football. He's 18-2 at Iowa Western. He played at McNeese State, had a stop at Iowa State. And it was real clear. He had gone through his read progression, nothing there. He hits his check down back. A lot of patience shown there by Nate Glantz.
4 wide receivers in the set. 3rd and 1 for Lindenwood. If you get in motion, handoff goes to Rhodes. Fake, actually. It's Glantz still bouncing off tacklers inside the 5 and has the first down. What a great play fake by Nate Glantz. The QB keeper moves the chains for the Lions inside the 5-yard line.
That's a great athletic move. I mean, he getting that RPO, run pass option. He doesn't know if he's going to read the defensive end as well as the outside linebacker. Look, he rolls to his left. Again, he's going to throw it. He runs. He makes Colton look. He makes Colton Ferris miss. Colton's 6'2", 225, very athletic. Makes him miss and gains some yardage there. It's a good athletic play by Nate Glantz.
1st and goal for Lindenwood. Again, this was the area of the field where pressure really bothered them last week. Let's see if App State dials it up here. Fake to Rhodes. It's Glantz trying to get the corner. Lost the football. He lost the football. Mountaineers have it at the 2. If this stands, App State's got another huge turnover inside the 5-yard line.
Wow, that's a tough situation for Nate Glantz. And I say that because let's see what happens here.
They're going to say Lindenwood recovered the football despite App State popping out of the pile with it. Let's see. Glantz off the side. Check it again here from the end zone look. Boy, that ball was right there for the taking.
Wow.
Gets to the 1-yard line. App State couldn't quite secure it. Here's Glantz again on the run, right up the middle. Touchdown, Lindenwood. Nate Glantz finishes off the drive. Lindenwood shakes off their red zone rust, and the Lions are on the board with 7:15 left in the first half.
I think folks are still booing, but nice run here. Again, nice toughness by him. Nothing there. RPO again, he just decides to go right up the middle, and he knew probably all the way when the ball was snapped that he was going to run the football. Showed a lot of toughness on that drive, even on the play where he fumbled. And I think folks are booing because when the Appalachian defender who fell on the ball, he was on his knees and had possession of the ball, so they're saying it should have been down there.
Glantz transferred in late last year as Graham's PAT is blocked, and Will Graham continues his struggles in the kicking game. It's his 2nd missed PAT of the year, and Lindenwood leaves a point on the board. 14-6, App State leads here at Kid Brewer Stadium, but Lindenwood roaring back. Home opener here at the Rock. 14-6 our score. Coming up at halftime, an interview with App State legend Dino Hackett, former NFL All-Pro, member of the App State Athletics Hall of Fame. Today is Football Alumni Day, and Dino amongst the many former player dignitaries in the audience, along with Avery Hall, who's up here in the booth with me today. Always good to see the guys. They don't look like I said, they don't look as athletic as they used to, but it's good to see some of them back. You do.
Some of us have a little girth now.
Dino could still play.
Some of us stand, but we had fun while we were doing it.
I guarantee Dino wants to get out there and play a little 3 technique right now.
Dino used to go into a game and quietly have 20 well, not quietly, the opponents would say it's not quietly, but have about 20 tackles easily. Good football player, really good football player.
Well, Graham, to kick it off, Lindenwood's kicking game struggles continue. Again, missed PAT, a lot of pressure from App State there. That might not have been as much on Graham as it was a lack of coverage to allow that PAT to miss. That's the 2nd missed PAT in 3 tries for Lindenwood thus far this year. But the Lions do a couple of things. One, they get their defense off the field for a little while. They've been on for quite a bit. But 2, they're able to capitalize in the red zone. And sometimes, again, as Jed Stugart pointed out, he's looking for his team to find some improvement. He's looking for the fight, the tenacity, and they got it on that last offensive drive.
Well, and again, they converted in the red zone against Appalachian State, not St. Thomas Tommies. So that is improvement. So he has to be pleased with that. Time
for App State to answer. Here's DeBinion off the right side up to the 30-yard line, pickup of about 5 yards. App State got out to a hot start. They scored on the very first play of the game. They've been kind of in the mud a little bit here. A couple of missed 4th down conversions today. Just not the same crispness that we saw. It's hard to keep that up, quite honestly, but you'd like to see an answer right here if you're Dowell Loggins, and he'll try to dial that up here.
And you know, one thing you like to do if you're Appalachian against an opponent like Lindenwood, you really would like to...
Cummings loose, nearly has the 1st down gain, depends on the spot.
DJ, what you really want to do is work on and refine the running game, work on and refine protection, work on and refine chemistry with your quarterback and your receivers. And at the same time, you don't want to show too much, knowing that you got Southern Mississippi, Boise State, Oregon State on the back end. You really don't want to show too much. If you can put this Lindenwood team away without showing a lot of your plays, that's a good day.
DeBinion off the right side, fighting through tacklers. And we'll pick up another 2 or 3. DeBinion, his 6th carry of the day, puts him right around the 60-yard mark. DeBinion said he will never shy away from contact. That was part of his post-game comments against Charlotte back on Friday night. Violent runner. You hear that word violent not only in offensive context with a guy that runs behind his pads, low to the ground, great center of gravity, but you hear it a lot in the defensive pursuit conversation around the program. Fake to DeBinion this time. Swan deals one down the sideline. He's got a man. That Sanchez falls out of his hands, incomplete. Good coverage on the sideline. A little one-on-one battle there between Sanchez and Jaden Patrick.
That's that go route on the wide side of the field. He goes in motion, and this is a ball. This is a well-thrown ball. This is a ball that Sanchez has to catch. This is a ball, and again, you have proper or adequate defensive coverage. He's not even looking back at the ball. That's a ball that Sanchez has to catch. And that's probably the 2nd one in a similar location that receivers have dropped here today.
Freshman Alex Sanchez had the game icer against Charlotte last week. Swan on 3rd down and 7. Looking toward the sidelines. Stroman can't keep his hands on it. That ball falls incomplete. Sam Owens breaks it up right in front of the App State coaching staff, and the Mountaineers faced with another 4th down here. It looks like they'll elect to punt with 5:36 to play until halftime. Check it again.
Good protection up front. Good throw. Throwing it only where the receiver can catch it. You got the DB gets his paw in there a little bit, but a 50-50 ball like that, DJ, Stroman has to have the strength to pull that one in and take that one away from the defender.
Ratliff, sky-high punt, fair catch called for at the 22-yard line, and Lindenwood will have the football down 8 points with 5:27 to play until the half.
Through their lens, through the Lindenwood Lions, and Coach Stugart's lens, they are 1 touchdown and 1 possession away from tying this football game. So they're going to get a little confidence, whether we realize it or not. They're going to get a little confidence. So it's important, and it's not an end-all be-all, but it's important that Appalachian's defense puts together a nice stand and be preferably a 3-and-out, but really a nice defensive stand.
Dusty Havorka, the 9th-year offensive coordinator at Lindenwood, 11th year as an offensive coordinator total. Led Lindenwood to back-to-back conference titles in 2019 and 21. They didn't play at all during the COVID season. He has been with his head coach, Jed Stugart, a long time. Those guys talked like they were finishing each other's sentences when we met with them earlier this week. Here's Glantz again, another low snap that he is able to fall on. No fullback speed or explosiveness this time around. Caleb Sandstrom wraps up the tackle as Glantz has the timing all kinds of disrupted on that play.
Well, and he's taking the snap from Andrew Swingle, who's 6'5", 300 pounds. Take a look at it. And actually that hit him in his hands, so he's got to catch that. So maybe the problem on that particular exchange was Glantz, but he does have a redshirt freshman snapping to him first time, or 2-game starter thus far.
Jared Rhodes, the protection back. Glantz slings one across. That's Bond on the spinning catch. Has the first down up to the 42. Rico Bond, the redshirt freshman out of St. Louis, has hauled in another amazing grab to give Lindenwood offensive life here. First down near midfield.
He threw that into triple coverage. That's just a well-thrown ball by Glantz. Good protection by Lindenwood's offensive line. 2
straight games now for Rico Bond that he's had more productivity in the game than he did all of last year. Had 3 catches for 27 yards in the opener last week against St. Thomas. 4 catches, 63 yards this afternoon. First down and 10, Lindenwood. Handoff goes to Rhodes. Pushes off the initial pile and gets 5-6 positive yards on first down.
That's just power football. You got tight end to the wide side of the field. They see that they are in an even front. Both of the guards are covered. They've got the defensive end outflanked by the tight end. He blocks down. That's just power football by Lindenwood there.
Seems like the air has been let out of Kid Brewer Stadium since that ball was popped out on the goal line.
Just a little bit. And that's why I say Lindenwood's going to build some confidence if Appalachian's not careful here.
Second down and 4. 6-yard pickup there for Rhodes. So he'll get the handoff again, coming to the opposite side. Trying to get a seal block, spins and gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. Great pursuit by App State all the way across that defensive middle. Brayshawn Littlejohn with the hit.
Littlejohn, those guys did a great job of reading their keys. If you see this play again, you're going to see, take a look at this, both the backs, the guards, this on the play side, they're going to pull. So most linebackers will start shifting that way, but these guys stayed within their gap responsibility, flowed to the football really, really well.
Brayshawn Littlejohn had a really nice start against Charlotte. He's been somebody that transferred into Missouri. He knew the playbook coming in, spending all that time with DJ Smith under Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri, just down the road a piece from these Lindenwood Lions. Third down and 3. Glantz with some pressure. Little sidearm toss, and it falls incomplete. Now Lindenwood in some tricky territory as that pass was intended for Drew Krobath. That'll bring up 4th down and 3.
I tell you what, Lindenwood didn't really give themselves a chance. Think about this. They had double tights on that 3-down lineman rushing. So again, you don't have but 3 guys out in the pass coverage, 3 skill guys going out to catch the ball. With that type of pressure being put on the quarterback, it doesn't give him very many options. So he had to go down, with the check down underneath. It just wasn't open.
A.J. Vinatieri, 3 punts today for a 38.3 yard average, as long as 45. From his own 34 now, flag thrown in. Delay of game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. We play 4th down.
May have done that to buy a little bit of real estate. Vinatieri's dad, Adam, 24 years in the NFL with the Colts and Patriots, 4 Super Bowl championships, the NFL record holder for career points scored. A.J. Vinatieri played 2 years at Louisville, never saw game action. He's originally from Zionsville, Indiana. Makes the trek to St. Charles. Key punt here. Good snap. App State does not send pressure. Spiraling punt. Here comes Barnes. Starts off in the opposite direction, trying to spin around, and gets planted at the 15-yard line. And the Mountaineers need to make a statement here with 2:23 left.
Definitely want to go in to halftime with a little positive momentum. And I mean, right now the stadium is not as loud. You know, Lindenwood feels like they've got a little confidence. Be nice to apply a little pressure here if you're Appalachian's offensive team and try and put some more points on the board before halftime.
A.J. Swan, 10 of 17 in the passing game, 186 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Again, one of the longest plays of the game, though, negated by a fumble out of bounds at the 1.
Well, that should also read probably 13 completions and only 14 on 13 or 14, because again we had 3 drops, 3 clear drops that were clearly on responsibility of the receivers.
Binion with 5-yard pickup on first down. Mountaineers trying to go with a little tempo to get one more snap off before the 2-minute stoppage, and they cannot do so. So we will take the 2-minute hiatus here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Mountaineers with the ball, up 8, trying to capitalize with points before halftime here at the Rock.
Thank you.
Just before halftime here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Great game day atmosphere today. Crowd's been a little bit silenced here as Lindenwood's climbed back in this thing. Down 14-6 App State with the football before halftime. Rashad DeBinion on 2nd down and 5, trying to get loose. But Lindenwood right there to make the stop. Sanjay Strickland, who had the big sack earlier on A.J. Swan, with the tackle, redshirt senior out of Colorado State, played 3 seasons there. Veteran presence in that linebacking core. 3rd down and 5 for App State. DeBinion orbiting this time. A little dump off pass to Barnes, trying to slip. And I get the corner, he's got a block, 20. Freed up now at the 30-yard line and pushed out of bounds. Great vision by Jaden Barnes to run his way, fight his way to a 1st down conversion.
Great way to fight your way, but he also got a little lucky, DJ. I think when he cut back in the backfield and he was going backwards, a Lindenwood defender missed him, so he got pretty lucky and bought a lot of real estate on that backside. So he got lucky on that play.
A.J. Swan trying to capitalize now, going across the middle for David Larkins, and that ball's picked off. Eric Gant comes away with it, his 4th career takeaway. The ball hawk of the Lindenwood defense comes up with a huge play with 1:17 to play until halftime.
That was, I bet A.J. Swan would like to have this back. Take a look here. He's looking, he stares down that receiver, throws it to him once again. Gant's he's a high IQ safety. He comes over, follows the eyes of A.J. Swan, picks that one off. You can't telegraph that throw like that, particularly with a seasoned guy like Gant back there. Eric Gant, 6'1", 186-pound redshirt senior. He's played too much football and knows how to read that quarterback's eyes, and particularly if the quarterback stares down a receiver like that.
1:17 to play until the break. 2 timeouts left for Lindenwood. We'll see exactly how aggressive Dusty Havorka will be offensively here as the Lions work. They've got the football first after the break. They're going to be aggressive. Long pass down the field, batted around and incomplete. It was intended for Rico Bond, as Nate Glantz was trying to bring a chunk of yardage in to Lindenwood's rearview mirror.
Tell you what, Emory Floyd, I think that was Emory Floyd, number 5, I'm sorry. That was Zaire Gamble from his strong safety position, rotating over, kind of watching where the ball was going. Good play on his part. I'm sure he'd want to try that again, because he should have intercepted that one.
Lance gets the snap, handoff Rhodes. Right side, keeps his balance up across the 30-yard line to the 32. 5-yard pickup brings up 3rd down and 5. Clock rolls inside a minute. And it looks like we're going to see a timeout. Lindenwood, I believe, will call the timeout here with 59 seconds to play.
Timeout. Appalachian State.
Check that. Appalachian State will burn one of their timeouts, and maybe trying to play the field position game and clock management game a little bit. We get a 3rd down stop. You got 3 timeouts left in about a minute to do the work. So we'll see who wins the chess match here. Go back to Lindenwood for a second. A lot of people around here probably don't know a lot about the Lions. They're from St. Charles, Missouri. We mentioned earlier, about 30 minutes outside of St. Louis. One of their claims to fame prior to today is that Taylor Swift's grandmother is a Lindenwood grad.
Wow.
So there you go.
Do you think Taylor Swift's a donor?
Well, you know, we've already got a connection to the future Swift-Kelsey family. I mean, Jason Kelsey was with us in the booth the last time we were together.
That's right.
So we'll see if maybe we can get it back. I have not seen any of that royal family here today.
You know, maybe she could do a concert or something.
Maybe.
You know?
Well, Lindenwood trying to shake it off in a major way. Tough loss to begin the season, but they're trying to make a little noise, trying to growl back a bit until halftime. They've got to convert on this 3rd down and 5. They're 2 of 8 on 3rd down conversions today. App State with a stop here could maybe get another pop at good field position before the break. Glantz with time. Little swing pass out in the flat to Crobath. He's got the 1st down and more. Up to midfield where he's finally forced out. The Lindenwood sideline wanted a late hit, but Crobath will say, hey, forget about it. Let's take the 1st down.
Crobath's a big receiver. He's 6'4", gosh, 210 pounds. I mean, so he's a big target, throwing it underneath to him. And again, when they throw it underneath to him, he just does a good job of finding real estate and making yardage after catch.
Just into the Mountaineer side of the boundary. 49-yard line. 55 seconds left and 2 timeouts. Lindenwood down 8. Glantz now 117 yards passing, looking for more. He's got a target just inside the 35, and that's complete to his tight end, Darren Fugett. 1st down, Lions.
Lindenwood's picked up a little confidence, and I tell you, now, if they can score, you'll say great with that confidence, but you also hope that Nate Glantz is going to get greedy and make a mistake, because he's thrown into double coverage twice now.
Glantz heaving one down the sideline. He's got a man, and that ball incomplete off the back of the App State defender. Jalen Smith, the redshirt sophomore out of Shiloh, Illinois, was the target right there on the near pylon.
Is that a Has on that was in the coverage there? Let's see here. Let's take a look and see who's in coverage here. Again, that's a good job of keeping his hands really off the. Well, we got lucky on that one. You got lucky that wasn't called pass interference, because a lot of times if you keep your hands off the receiver and you don't turn around, they won't call it. But if your hands are touching them, they may call it. Got away with one right there.
2nd down and 10 for the Lions. 33 seconds left on the clock. Again, remember that Will Graham has struggled in the kicking game. Missed a PAT today, missed 3 field goals last week. He was good from about 35 yards in pregame warm-ups. Don't necessarily know that Jed Stugart in a situation like this is going to put that chip down. Maybe in a opportunity like this, in a venue like this, you try to be a little bit more aggressive, as Lindenwood calls a timeout, and they'll talk about it again with just over 30 seconds to play until halftime.
DJ, the ironic part of this is if they get a field goal, it's a win. Really, this drive is a win because they built some momentum. They kind of sapped it. Well, the crowd's getting a little louder now, but taking some energy out of the crowd in the 2nd quarter. And they've got some confidence now coming into the 2nd half. So regardless of whether they put points on the board or not, barring a turnover and a pick 6 or something, they'll have some momentum going into the 2nd half.
Ball spotted at the 32-yard line. Lindenwood with 1 more timeout remaining. Lance utilizing Jared Rhodes. We have asked about the whereabouts of Steve Hall, who went out, we presume, with injury in the opening drive. We haven't seen him since. Rhodes on the carry to the 32. Back to the line of scrimmage. Didn't have a whole lot there. Jordan Favors in the contest made the tackle. 3rd down and 10. Big opportunity for Glantz and company. Let's see how App State answers. Glantz drifting back, lots of time. Pocket starting to collapse, and he'll have to throw that football away. It's 4th down and 10. 7 seconds to play until halftime.
Appalachian doing a good job of getting pressure on Nate Glantz, really with 3 down linemen, which allowed them to keep more guys in the coverage. But good job of forcing him to really throw off balance and have a poorly thrown football there.
7 seconds left. You got to play the sticks a little bit here. With 1 timeout left, you can throw across the middle and call a timeout. So maybe 2 more plays here if Lindenwood can get the conversion. 4th down and 10. And now a timeout taken by App State.
On that boundary side, they've got 2 receivers and really don't have a safety over top. So I'd watch Nate Glantz looking to go in that direction.
And that may be exactly why App State called the timeout.
Did you see that? Didn't have a safety over there.
Again, coming up at halftime, we'll talk with Dino Hackett. He is in the booth with us, watching this from high up top. App State hoping for a defensive stand and a little shot of momentum. Again, we said that after the fumble by Dalton Scroman on the 1-yard line, that ball was really kind of punched out of his arms as much as he tried to cradle it up against his chest. The momentum has clearly flipped to the other side of the field, and Lindenwood has been somewhat in the driver's seat from that perspective from about late 1st quarter on.
And this is what Stugart talked about when we had him on the team's call. We were talking about what he was looking for, and he just wanted competition and wanted effort, and he's definitely getting that from his guys today.
All right, here we go. 4th down and 10. 7 seconds left until the break. Lindenwood trying to punch one in right before halftime. Glantz with the shotgun snap. Lots of time in the pocket. Flag comes in. Glantz rolling around, and he'll throw that one away with 1 second left on the clock. They'll probably make that adjustment, though it goes to zeros in venue. There's a flag on the play. Looks like App State will decline a hold. Well, they say the clock is truly dead.
Offense. Penalties decline. Halftime.
And that will be the final play of the half. So Lindenwood gets all the way to the Mountaineer 30-yard line, and the Apps get the stand that they needed. Though the Lions a bit fired up right now as they head off the field down 14-6 here in the home opener at Kid Brewer Stadium. Halftime set to come your way here. We'll talk to Dino Hackett here in just a few moments as we play on in the home opener at Kid Brewer Stadium. Mountaineers lead it over Lindenwood 14-6 at halftime.
fighting to get in the end zone. You fumble the football, it goes out of the end zone. You lose possession, and you're back on the 20-yard playing defense.
Halftime here at Kid Brewer Stadium. All the excitement of the home opener. The marching Mountaineers, North Carolina's band of distinction, out on the field here as we take a break in what is a pretty good ball game, 14-6. App State on top of Lindenwood here at halftime. As we mentioned, this is football alumni weekend. Probably about 100 former players or so were honored out on the goal line back during the second quarter, and one of the former Mountaineers in the booth with us, one of the more decorated ones. He's got a jersey hanging up in here. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's Dino Hackett, one of the all-time greats in App State's defensive annals, has joined us here. Dino, great to see you. We were talking before you came up here that, like, you could go out there and play now. Do you have the adrenaline still flowing?
Yeah, the adrenaline's there. It's just the legs aren't there anymore. You feel like you could do it again, and you're still flinching every time you're watching plays in your seat, but those days are gone.
You were part of App State's really kind of the first rise of success at the FCS level. Coming out of a pretty good run there under Jim Brakefield, you had the opportunity to set up the foundation for what was dominance under Sparky Woods and then later Jerry Moore. Can you take us back to what, like, early 80s football was like? Because I don't think it had quite the pageantry that this does.
No, it didn't. It's pretty cool, though. You know, they had the 95 team, the 2015 team, and the 2025 team. So, you know, we were in my senior year was 1985. Before that, the year before, Coach Brown came here and took over for Mike Working, and, you know, that kind of really changed the program. And then Sparky had me my last 2 years, but, you know, yeah, it was nothing like it is today, but I think it was the start of something big. You know, just from the beginning of my freshman year until my senior year, the type of players that we got here at Appalachian State. And then that continued, you know, when Sparky was here, and of course when Coach Moore came in and took this thing to a whole nother level.
I remember hearing one of the stories about you saying that when you finished your career, it took about 2 hours to get you out of the locker room over at the Mini Dome. You set the school record for tackles in that game. But, you know, that kind of tenacious playing style is something that has transcended the generations. How do you see that showing up in today's game? That want to play every snap, the durability, the toughness?
You know, kids obviously love the game. You got to love the game to play this sport. You know, the average student athlete football player spends 30 hours more a week, you know, doing what the average student does. But, you know, for me in that particular game, you know, I didn't know what my future was going to be. You know, there was no plan B. Football was the plan. And at that point in your career, you don't know, you know, what's going to happen to me. And I remember wanting to make every play in that game, and I made most of them. But you know, you didn't want to take off that black and gold for the last time. And, you know, when you got a locker room of kids like that, and I think the guys saw me, you know, at that, and then it really kind of switched because we won the Southern Conference Championship for the first time the next year. And, you know, things have been, you know, Appalachian football has just gone higher and higher levels every year since.
About 30 seconds here. You get a chance to reflect now at this stage of your life back to your playing days. You see your name on the wall in a couple of different places. Does that still get the heart beating a little bit about what you meant here?
Oh man, it's awesome. You know, it's such a great feeling. This is my second home, so much so that we have built a second home here that looks down into the stadium, and we're looking at the scoreboard from our house. So, you know, this is such a special place for me. It always will be. There's been great players who've played here. I'm so proud to have my number hanging down there with two college football Hall of Fame players in Dexter and Armani.
Well, I know that you're up for that kind of honor yourself, so we hope that the voters do their job. But, Dino, it's great to catch up with you. It's always great to see you still around the program, and here's to a good second half for the Black and Gold.
Go App State.
All right, Dino Hackett joining us here in the booth. We continue on with our halftime coverage from Kid Brewer Stadium. 14-6 App State on top of Lindenwood at halftime. Well, the Bibbs Boonies are out in full force here for the home opener at Kid Brewer Stadium. App State leading Lindenwood 14-6. We've got plenty more of halftime coming your way, including highlights and stats before we get back to the action here at the Rock. App State leading Lindenwood at the break. All right, the banana is back in place now. We're almost ready for second half action. 14-6, App State leading Lindenwood. We'll go ahead and take you back through some of the highlights here of first half play. App State started this game incredibly fast. You can't start it faster. First play offensively, Dalton Stroman hauls in a 72-yard touchdown catch, and it looked like the Mountaineers were going to be off to the races early in this one. Stroman, 2 catches for 118 yards. More on that in a little bit. The Mountaineers were able to go to the air again, and there's Stroman, but he had the ball pop loose on the goal line, and Avery Hall, that's where the air was really kind of let out of this place. Stroman, unfortunately, just couldn't finish the job there on the one.
He really could, and again, and in his defense, he did try and cradle the football, but Jaden Patrick, again, just did a good job of punching it out.
See DJ Burks' interception there. That heat turned up by Lindenwood from a defensive standpoint there as well. The quarterback quarterback sack by Sanjay Strickland of A.J. Swan, and that's really kind of what got Lindenwood's juices flowing. You see Nate Glantz with the completed pass there as the Lions ended up moving the football for 155 yards of offense. Most of that coming in the second quarter. Glantz finishes off the touchdown run. Lindenwood would miss the PAT. So that is where our kind of imbalanced score comes from. But Glantz quarterbacking the drive. App State trying to capitalize on some momentum themselves. They get a touchdown. Barnes sliding across. That was the second score of the day for App State. Trying to get the fans going. They've been taken out of the game, really, by Lindenwood's play in the second quarter.
Lindenwood just played a great second quarter. And again, you know, it's real clear that they've got a senior leader at quarterback. And quarterback play can make or break a team. Nate Glantz has done well in the second quarter.
14-6 is our score at the break. We are back with stats and second half action from Kidd Brewer Stadium right after this. Second half action has started. Kidd Brewer Stadium. David Jackson, Avery Hall back with you. Take a look at the first half stats pretty quick. 270 to 155 in the total offense. A lot of that offense early for App, late for Lindenwood. And then penalties still an issue there, Avery Hall. 4 penalties for 40 yards for App State, a team that was penalized 9 times for almost 100 yards last week.
Definitely want to correct that problem as you get into tough non-conference play as well as conference play, because again, field position and penalties and turnovers will hurt you when you have stiffer competition.
Lindenwood will have the football. They had the ball for nearly 20 minutes of first half play. App State didn't have a whole lot of offensive opportunities. Only 30 total plays for the Mountaineers in the first half. And they'll have to wait on the sidelines for a few minutes as Lindenwood tries to bring a positive return back from halftime. They'll get the football to the 40-yard line, and the Lions come out roaring immediately. We saw them leave the locker room, Avery Hall, with a little bit of momentum and energy. One of the things that Jed Stugart said very quickly in our conversation earlier this week, he said, "I'm anxious to see our response." Well, that's a pretty good response from what was probably a powerful halftime locker room for the Lions.
Sure, when they came out, they had a little swagger. They lined up in the end of the Mountaineer end zone on the M, and they were just jumping around and excited. And obviously, this kickoff return is providing a lot of energy.
Nate Glantz was 2 of 9 at one point in time, finished the first half 10 of 20 for 134 yards. He goes to work here, his team down 14-6. Glantz trying to get out of trouble, and here comes pressure. Mountaineers dial up the heat, and Glantz takes a seat for a loss of 3 on the play.
Yeah, I tell you what, good pressure by the front 4. But really, this is take a look here. Good pressure by the front 4. Good coverage on the back end. But really, this is Glantz holding on to the football too long. He probably wants to get rid of that sooner to avoid that sack.
Thomas Davis, his 5th career sack, as he drops the QB for a loss of about 2.5. Well, it's 2nd and 13. Glantz with a blocking back. Quick pass. Crobath cannot get free. Great pursuit again by App State's Emery Floyd. He matched up with Crobath across the middle.
Good job of matching up, like you said, with Crobath across the middle. Coming in, making a great, sure, open field tackle, but also good pressure. But if you take a look here, we bring, instead of 4 this time, we bring 5 to kind of make Nate get rid of that ball before he wants to, but Zaire just comes up like a missile and makes a great open field tackle.
Colton Ferris will get credit for a pressure on that play as well, as he was breathing down the neck of Nate Glantz before he released the football. Lindenwood with 3rd down and 11. Glantz in trouble again, and down he goes. And that's the answer that you needed to see from the App State defense.
Wow.
Brayshawn Littlejohn with the quarterback sack.
I tell you, Littlejohn's had a fine football game this today. Again, he comes off a little under control. I mean, out of control there, but gets under control and makes a great sack there on Glantz.
Brayshawn Littlejohn is going to play himself into more and more time with the energy that he has started these first 2 games with.
Most of Littlejohns are good athletes, so I can see why he's playing well. You didn't know that my mother was a Littlejohn. She married my dad, who was a Hall.
Vinatieri nearly had that one blocked. Here comes Barnes with a little full head of steam up across the 50-yard line. Sidesteps another tackler and into Lindenwood territory. The Mountaineers have taken a 3-and-out defensive stand and potentially set themselves up with good field position. There is a flag on the play.
Looks like this is going to be on Appalachian, maybe holding on Appalachian, but we'll see here.
Jeremy Parker.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 25.
Did you get the call? I didn't see that.
It was holding.
First down, App State.
Whenever you have a guy that free in a lot of space like that, it's pretty clear somebody's held somewhere, particularly at this level of football.
So what you're saying is returns aren't supposed to happen.
You don't get that much real estate to open up that quickly without somebody grabbing some jerseys sometimes. Particularly with the hang time these guys have now.
Vinatieri got that football away, and Mountaineers will see the penalty yardage marked back off. Instead of the Lindenwood 40, they'll have the football at their own 20.
Appalachian needs to make a statement on this drive. Again, go down and be very authoritative on this drive, establish the run, but not be conservative with throwing the football, but trying to look to put some points on the board.
Rashad DeBinion in the backfield. A.J. Swan after the first half, 207 in the air, 11 of 19 passing, a pair of touchdowns and an interception. Eric Gant with that grab for Lindenwood. We set the play clock. We're ready to go. Let's see if App State's offense can answer as emphatically as their defense just did. We have a flag on the play as Larkins was in motion. It looks like false start against App State.
Yeah, it looks like the guard may have jumped a little bit.
5-yard penalty.
And you know, when that quarterback claps, that's designed to kind of make the defense react so that he can try and figure out the coverage or the alignment. Take a look here. But when he goes in motion, we jump. Typically, motion is designed to try and create a mismatch or a formation advantage.
Dubinion tried to get the cut back and instead heads up the middle across the 15 up to the 17-yard line. So a 2-yard pickup for Dubinion, who's been running it well again today, almost 8 yards per carry at halftime. He did have a 26-yard long. That makes up a good bit of his about 65 yards of rushing offense. And he has been really it from App State's rushing perspective. Second down and long, and that ball through the hands of Stroman, incomplete. That's 2 drops that he's had in this game, all coming after that fumble on the goal line.
That's really just a lack of concentration. Good protection, quick throw. He's wide open. Not only could he catch the football and maybe get 4 or 5 more yards, but he doesn't catch the football. That's a lack of concentration.
Injury timeout will take the break as well. 14-6, App State on top of Lindenwood, early third quarter in Boone. Happy about football being back in Boone, from young to old, and the students too. They have been in full force. Over 12,000 tickets allocated to App State students for this game, part of the 12th straight sellout here at Kid Brewer Stadium. The energy needs to switch over to the home team side. App State got a 3-and-out defensive stand to start the second half. Their offense has been working backwards since a penalty on the return, and now they see 3rd down and 13 coming up on their first conversion attempt. App State 2 of 6 on 3rd downs in the first half. Lindenwood trying to make a defensive answer themselves in a 1-score ball game. A.J. Swan back to throw. Across the middle, had time, has Barnes caught, 30-yard line, depending on the spot. He should have enough for the first down.
That's good. Everybody's going to see the catch and the throw, but that was really good protection. They came with 4 down linemen. They showed 4 down linemen. A 5th and a 6th person blitzed. Appalachian State's offensive line did a fantastic job of picking up both blitzing linebackers.
6th catch of the day for Barnes. Now Dubinion into the secondary across the 40-yard line up to the 45. That's a pickup of 15 yards for Rashad Dubinion, and another Mountaineer first down.
Dubinion he does a great job. You got an injured Lyndon Lyon there.
Officials timeout.
Looks like he's cramping up, but Dominion does a good job not only of running behind his pads, but he has good vision. I mean, he's shifty. If you take a look at the replay here again, he just does a good job. Look at the shift here and the cutback, and he's still looking, uses peripheral vision, and still he runs straight ahead too. He's not going to take a step east or west. He's going north the entire time.
He averaged over 5 yards per touch of the football last week. 27 different opportunities between 22 rushes and 5 catches. Today, Dominion right around 8 yards per carry, 10 for 79 on the ground. Has not been active yet in the pass catching game. See where this injured Jacob Waller, the Will linebacker,
may have
rolled up on
his ankle or knee. He knew right away too.
Waller and Jamison Willingham were in quite the battle for that outside linebacker position in Eric Ainama's defense. Willingham has gotten the start in both games thus far this season. So Waller out. App State with 1st and 10, getting near midfield, leading 14-6. 300 yards of total offense exactly. Here's Dominion with a stiff arm, trying to get the corner using blocking. 1st down and more. Ball loose, and it belongs to Lindenwood. Or does it? Hold on. The Lindenwood sideline seems to believe so.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Lindenwood.
And
First
that
down.
is exactly what happened. Lindenwood with the football, their 2nd takeaway today.
Wow.
3rd takeaway, rather.
3rd takeaway, yeah. Productive run. If you take a look here, not much in the middle of the field, zone blocking really to the left. He cuts it back, sees some real estate, does a good job of hitting the outside, but just right here turns the football over. He's clearly out of there and jumped on by a Lindenwood Lion.
Looked like Sam Owens was the one that came over and punched the football out. Good pursuit there by Zach Lewis as well. The middle linebacker kind of reached back and clawed at it. So Lindenwood eventually gets the stop, their 3rd takeaway of the day. An interception and 2 fumbles by App State. Now Nate Glantz will go back to work. His handoff to Jared Rhodes as he tries to attack the left side, goes for a loss.
Tell you what, just really good pursuit by the defensive line. Everybody standing their gap, going down the line of scrimmage, not putting the linebacker on the island by letting a seam get too wide, but just everybody getting down the line, making a good play there.
Bucci Farmer, the redshirt freshman out of Atlanta, on the tackle for App State. Drop of 1 2nd and 11. Lindenwood has not gained much positive offense, as App State has turned up the heat. Here's Glantz with pressure, got drilled as he threw that football. It's downfield for Bond, and it falls incomplete. Good pursuit by Jaden McBurrows, but man, Glantz got crushed just as he threw that by DeNigel Cooper, the redshirt freshman out of Kingsland, Georgia.
Take a look at this again. Really decent pressure, because he has to roll out to buy a little bit of time, and he tosses it up. Really a nice throw. And really the defender did a good job of using the sideline as help and putting his body in between the ball and the hands of that wide receiver. So really good defensive position.
App State trying to flex that defensive muscle once again. 3rd down and 11 for Lindenwood. 3 to the bottom of your screen. Up top, the Lions go. And the pass for Rhodes knocked out on the sideline, incomplete. So App State gets another defensive stand, and Lindenwood will have to punt it away.
Lindenwood, that was a nicely called play, a little wheel route to the boundary there. Again, take a look at it. He's looking automatically. He tosses it because he sees that receiver at the back, getting out of the backfield. Woo! Appalachian dodged a bullet there because he catches it. It's the 1st down.
Colton Ferris in coverage. A.J. Vinatieri to punt. App State got pressure on him last time. They don't send the house this time. Vinatieri with a lining wobbler. Barnes heading backward, and now gets tackled across the 20-yard line up to the 21, and that's where App State will have it to take over their 2nd possession of the half. App State leading 14-6, trying to get some distance here at the Rock. 14-6, App State on top of Lindenwood. The Lions, as they are roaring, they might as well be the Eagles with the way that they've had to fly their way around for these first few games. They were up in St. Thomas, that's in St. Paul, Minnesota last week. They've descended upon Kid Brewer Stadium. Avery, wave real quick, there we are. And then after this week, it'll be on to Charleston, South Carolina, where they will take on Charleston Southern in the opening conference game next week before heading back to Lindenwood for their opener against Stony Brook. In all, that's 4,076 miles in 3 games for the Lions to start the year. First pass by A.J. Swan, intended for Caden Hamlet, falls incomplete. Mountaineers off 2nd and 10.
And that was a drop, but that was also poorly thrown towards his kneecap, between the kneecap and the ankles. That's a tough catch. A.J. Swan wants that one back so he can make a better throw.
Hamlet, a 19-yard catch in the opener against Charlotte last week. Low snap, handoff to DeBinion as he runs up across the 25-yard line. Dominion started to get that lathered up feel. You've talked about that before, Avery, that you got to get running backs touches. Dowell Logan said you like to throw for some rhythm early and run to win. Well, it looks like he's flipped to the run to win part. 12 carries for Dominion. He's over 100 yards for the 2nd time in his Mountaineer
career. Nice
to
go back to him quickly, too, after the fumble. Give him a little more confidence toting that rock there.
3rd down and a long 5. 3 wide to the bottom of your screen. That's where Swan's looking, and now he'll take off. He's got running room for the 1st down to the 40-yard line. Full head of steam for A.J. Swan, who runs for the Mountaineer 1st down.
That's a great decision by A.J. Again, as he's going through his read progression from deep to route, look at he's going through his read progression. Nothing's there. Instead of making a poor throw, he decides to tuck it and run. Good decision on his part.
Barnes, orbiting motion, handoff goes to DeBinion, left side, leans his helmet into the first level of the Lindenwood defense and picks up 2. Going back to the relationship between Swan and DeBinion, they've actually known each other for a very long time. Played high school 7-on-7 together. They've known each other since they were about 12 years old. A.J. Swan said it was great to have DeBinion with him. Said he's always enjoyed and admired his game and really likes having him on his team. So there's a synergy there between running back and quarterback. DeBinion taking that confidence. Actually, that's not DeBinion. That may be Trig Lewis on the carry. Actually, take that back. That's Khalifa Keith, the redshirt sophomore from Birmingham by way of the Tennessee Vols. His first carry for the black and gold. He did not play last week against Charlotte.
I tell you, it was a good read by Khalifa Keith. He was looking at the pulling guard. Trent Ramsey did a good job of running off his backside after he made a good block, kicking out the defensive end. So good read by Khalifa Keith on that run.
3rd down and 4. DeBinion back in there. Pass complete. Chris Lawson Jr. with the grab, and the Mountaineer 1st down into Lindenwood territory.
Good protection up front. Good throw, good catch. Good momentum right now by this Appalachian offense. A little faster tempo as well.
Chris Lawson, 3rd year in the program, his first catch as a Mountaineer, moves the chains for a 1st down at a critical time. Here's DeBinion straight up the gut, bouncing off tacklers to the 34-yard line. Pickup of nearly 9 yards on 1st down.
Good job of via motion. They tried to motion. Well, they didn't try. They motioned the tight end. The defensive lineman did not change their alignment. The coverage didn't move. So pre-snap, Swan knew what he had 2 deep safeties. Give it to the running back on that RPO.
Dupa Coleman on the field, lined up in the slot. Isaiah Cummings, the motioning tight end. And off to DeBinion, right up the middle. Into the secondary, inside the 15. 1st down, Mountaineers to the 13-yard line. Tell you what Dowell Loggins has done. He's done a little bit of substituting, and I wonder if that's not a message to his offense that says, hey, this is a 1-score game. If you can't hang on to the ball, we're going to find some people that can.
Well, and again, Coach Loggins needs to kind of salute his offensive line right now. Shamar Jackson, Will Flowers, Trent Ramsey, Tyreek Poindexter. Those guys are knocking folks off the ball.
Wildcat snap this time to DeBinion. That is snuffed out by the Lindenwood defense. Picks up about 1 yard or 2 on the play. The late motion there from Swan, just kind of sidestepped and let DeBinion carry the football.
It's important for Appalachian to finish this drive and put 7 on the board versus 3. Lots of good momentum. It looks like the depth of Appalachian being a FBS school versus the FCS school is starting to show up. The depth is starting to show, and they're pounding this Lindenwood team right now.
Swan rolling out. Coleman can't hang on to it. Dupa Coleman had that one right off his fingertips. Falls incomplete at his feet. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Take a look at this again. Good protection. Rolls them out to buy a little time. Another drop. Now, that's about 5 drops today, DJ, that Coach Loggins will have to address in practice next week.
Opinion motioning. Swan with play clock winding inside 10. Good protection. Flag on the play. Going for the back corner. That's overthrown. And another flag on the play. There are 2 infractions to sort out here as Coleman went toe-to-toe in the defensive backfield with Alex Dawkins and got taken out over the top.
Yeah, and it looks like pass interference on Lindenwood, and I'm not so sure I saw that. I guess once we see the replay, we'll know.
Illegal formation, offense.
So that's going to offset.
Pass interference, defense, number 13. Those fouls offset. Replay the down.
So they're going to replay the down because the pass interference and the illegal procedure, that's offset. But take a look here. Toss it up. Unless he grabbed him prior to that last frame coming in, I thought that was a pretty good, well-defensed play.
Here's Swan on the 3rd down do-over. Across the middle, and that ball batted down at the goal line. That was intended for William Fowles. So now the Mountaineers will try to put points on the board with the leg of Dominic DeFreitas. Last week he was 2 of 2 on field goals, a long of 47. So this setup will be a 29-yard field goal off near hash.
Now, this if they get the field goal, it's obviously points on the board for Appalachian, but psychologically, it's a win for Lindenwood. But one thing I will say, Appalachian did wear Lindenwood down some on that drive. You'll see depth taking over in this football game.
DeFreitas 3 for 3 to start his Mountaineer career. Good from 29, and the Mountaineers put points on the board. 17-6, App State on top of Lindenwood at the Rock. Eric Gant having quite the game for the Lindenwood Lions. Check out this play that caused App State to have to go for a field goal. Great breakup. He's had an interception today, nearly had another one there. And Avery Hall, he's got a little bit of dance moves to him.
What is it? To be the man, you have to beat the man swag there. But he did a good job of baiting A.J. Swan, because he made A.J. think, I guess, that he had a little more space, and he did a good job of breaking that one up.
Jed Stugart said he's a ball hawk defender. 4 career takeaways now. He has certainly been a spark plug for this Lindenwood defense in their resurgence from the second quarter on. All right, so the Mountaineers put 3 on the board. It was a 29-yard field goal by Dominic DeFreitas, true freshman out of Napanee, Indiana, where they are gearing up for the 49th annual Napanee Apple Festival. The Apple Festival will go on next week, so don't worry about that. You won't miss anything. We got that 29-yard field goal, perfect. 3 for 3 to start his career. 5:36 to go in the third. Lindenwood trying to answer, trying to keep some momentum going. Handoff up the middle, and Woods gets stopped for a gain of 3. Larevius Woods has gotten some time today. We have not seen Robert Giamo, and again, Steve Hall has only had 1 carry in this game. It was for -3 yards, and we have not seen him since the opening drive, nor have we been given any official indication as to why he is out. So we can assume an injury, don't want to speculate too much beyond that, but I think if you would have told Jed Stugart that you're going to be within, you know, a couple of possessions of App State heading toward the fourth quarter without your Peyton All-American, he'd have taken that. Meanwhile, App State's really turned up the heat from a defensive standpoint. Aiden Benton gets to the quarterback in the backfield.
I tell you, that was just good effort on his part. Again, take a look here. Well, again, you're not going to see, but he does a good job of ripping underneath and then really just turning on the jets to get there. Outstanding job by number 33.
Benton, a redshirt sophomore, one of those Georgia military products, a long history of GMC sending players to App State.
Does a great job, again, lowering that shoulder, getting underneath to that big tackle and getting in pursuit, and good effort play. 3rd and
21. Nate Glantz needs a heroic moment here. 3 wide. Goes in the slot to Bond. Trying to get the corner 20 up to the 25 and gets back to the initial line of scrimmage. So a gain for field position purposes as much as anything, but App State's really kind of flipped the lever here defensively in the second half.
You know, interesting, Lindenwood and Nate Glantz were trying to take advantage of that wide side of the field, flipping it out there to one of their playmakers in space. But on that play, Appalachian just did a great job of getting folks to the ball. They had folks coming out of their, you know, trap zone areas, getting over the ball and keeping that gain down to 2 yards versus maybe 13 yards.
A.J. Vinatieri on to punt. 5 times for 40 yards on average along a 45. He'll send Barnes way back on this one. Check the roll and the kick up at the 15-yard line or so. Barnes trying to bring this football back. Gets through one level of tacklers. The skates of Jaden Barnes out across the 30-yard line, and the Mountaineers have a little better field position than it looked like off of Vinatieri's foot.
You know the good thing about Barnes when he runs the football or he returns a punt or catches a pass, it's like you're constantly looking for fireworks, for something to happen. And that time he did create a little magic and got some yards after the coverage after receiving the punt there.
See Rashad DeBinion's numbers on the day, 135 yards on the ground. So he's bested his 111 from last week. 4 times now as a collegian. He has gone over that mark. Takes the first carry up to the 35. He's a guy that Dowell Loggins was with at Arkansas for a full year. When he left Arkansas to go to South Carolina, he really thought that DeBinion was going to be the next big thing when he left. He thought the Arkansas running back stable was going to kind of be led by Rashad DeBinion. It didn't work out quite that way. And to Dowell Loggins' gain. There's Fowles with the catch. Check that. That's Dalton Stroman with the grab at the 42-yard line and a first down gain. It'll be interesting to see how Stroman is utilized and really how Dowell Loggins coaches him up from here. More on that in a second.
AJ had two options. He throws it to Strowman, but he really had number 4 streaking across the middle of the field wide open as well.
Here's Cummings, the tight end off the edge. App State going with some tempo here as they pick up 7 yards on first down. Dowell Loggins said it's important for him to establish in his program that if you mess something up, as long as you've got effort and you're going full speed, we are in your corner. Last week when Jaden Barnes fumbled on the goal line, he had that moment with him and said, hey, it's okay, go back and don't make the same mistake twice. We'll see if that same coaching gets Strowman to not dwell too much on what he hasn't done today and think about what he has. Here's DeBinion bouncing off tacklers inside the 30. That's enough to move the sticks. And that's something that from a program establishing standpoint, you got to be genuine with that, and you've got to attack that the first time something negative happens. But Dowell Loggins has done that, and it looks like he's got Strowman back in the right headspace now.
Well, it'll pay dividends for you, because what you don't want is you don't want your players not playing instinctively and playing fast. If they fear of making a mistake will crush you before even making the mistake. So if you play hard and play fast, sometimes you can overcome mistakes.
Swan with a little shoulder fake, then goes to DeBinion for his first catch of the day inside the 27-yard line. Mountaineers can drive a pretty serious wedge here. They've taken the momentum back in the closing minutes of the third quarter.
As I shared with you earlier, I mean, it's real clear that, you know, even though this defensive line from Lindenwood is the strength of their football team, because they're all seniors and redshirt juniors, but right now this ASU offensive line is wearing them down a little bit.
Barnes runs right into the tackle of Alex Dawkins. Jaden Barnes picks up enough for the Mountaineer first down. So right on the doorstep of the red zone are the Mountaineers of Appalachian State.
Yeah, if you look at this defensive line again, you know, Cole McClendon, he's a redshirt senior. Austin Rustermeyer, redshirt junior. Tajay Passmore, redshirt senior. They're all 6'3", 255, 6'2", 275. Pretty big guys. But right now, this offensive line of Appalachian is kind of, dominating and imposing their will. And a lot of times, you know, Appalachian can rotate defensive linemen in, 3 or 4 or 5, 6 different guys. Well, Lindenwood doesn't have that depth, and it's starting to show late in this football game.
And we've seen that today. Bucci Farmer, Aiden Benton, Caleb Sandstrom, all coming in at different defensive end or tackle positions, and that is with a group that's about 8. Really, you want to call it what it is. That's about a 12-deep group.
That's exactly right.
That can rotate through, and Lindenwood, as you mentioned, just does not have the personnel for that at this point in time. And how many times has App State's fan base heard that refrain over the years back to the FCS days when it was an almost against Auburn, it was an almost against how many teams over the years?
Well, and David Jackson, you make a great point, because there are former players, there are fans at home now saying, well, we should be up by 3 or 4 touchdowns. Well, hell, Appalachian used to be the Lindenwood. We felt like we could go into any venue and win and play and have a good time. So Lindenwood's smelling themselves as well.
Jaden Barnes smelling the end zone there a bit. Got inside the 10-yard line, was finally run out at the 8. That's first and goal for App State, as Barnes has really picked up his production here in the third quarter as well.
He's a playmaker. I mean, even at Austin Peay last year, he had 60 catches over 1,000 yards, and he's just kind of picked up here at Appalachian State where he left off there. But he was that way in high school at Langston Hughes down in Georgia. He's just a playmaker.
That'll be the final play of the third quarter. 8 catches, 71 yards on the day for Jaden Barnes. He and the Mountaineers are 8 yards away from the goal line. We'll see if App State can punch it across as we head to quarter number 4 here at the Rock. Tourist Stadium. David Jackson, Avery Hall with you here on the opener. App State with 17 points. We'll show you how they got them real quick on the very first play offensively of the game. Dalton Stroman shakes a tackler and heads to the house. 72 yards to the score. Jaden Barnes would get in on the action a little bit later. A field goal as well. We'll show you those a little bit later on. DeBinion trying to get to the goal line. He'll get stopped at the 1 as we start the fourth quarter of play. And App State up 17-6 and looking to put some distance here. Swan with DeBinion in the backfield. Cummings the offset tight end. Second and goal from the 1. Swan looking, back pylon, one-handed catch attempt by Alex Sanchez, incomplete. We'll bring up third down and 1.
You know, you gotta feel good about gambling on second down and putting the ball in the air when you're inside the 5. But I think at this juncture, the way the offensive line's playing, your running backs running, I'm just going to bully ball these guys, and I'm pushing it in the end zone if I'm Appalachian's offensive coordinator.
Wildcat action. DeBinion to the goal line. Did he get in there? Flag on the play. Hold everything. Looks like a false start by App State is the initial call.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
So that'll make it third and goal from the 6. And these are the things that Dowell Loggins, as the head coach and play caller, will get doubly frustrated about. Penalty inside the 1-yard line, essentially.
Well, they had 9 penalties for 98 yards last week, and that was something he's really focused on, wanting to clean up. And now you're looking at 7. That's 7 penalties for almost, I think, 80 yards today. So that's something he'll continue to work on. But you know, sometimes the penalties come from aggressive play, and you know, there's a fine line between being disciplined and being aggressive. But you got to err on the side of being disciplined.
Stoppage on the field here. Both teams huddling up after the penalty yardage marked off. As Avery mentioned, 7 penalties for 60 yards against App State. And Dowell Loggins said in his press conference earlier this week that he was, again, okay with no pre-snap penalties last week. You know, there was the targeting calls. He addressed that. That was a technique thing that they would go back and work on some more. Attributed that to really no live QB tackling in camp, and said that he would take on that one. This time around, a few more pre-snap penalties. And again, that will give some creative freedom to the coaching staff this week to try to get those things cleaned up. Third and goal from the 6. Big defensive opportunity for Lindenwood if they want to hang in it. Here's Swan. Fakes one direction, goes back to the other, off of Stroman's hands, incomplete. And now App State with a decision to make on 4th down inside the 10.
You got to put points on the board in this situation. So I think they'll kick the field goal, but you know, missed opportunity. You know, you kind of wish that A.J. Swan had pulled that down and just run it, because he had a lot of real estate in front of him. But he was trying to be patient and find a receiver to distribute the football to.
Dominic DeFreitas has been good from 29 yards. This one from 24. Snap good, hold good. And DeFreitas splits the uprights again. 4 for 4 to start for the Mountaineer freshman kicker. App puts points on the board. They lead it 20-6 over Lindenwood here in Boone. of touchdowns, a couple of field goals for App State today. Here's that look from Dalton Stroman on the first play of the game. Again, 72 yards. That got App State on the board. It was Jaden Barnes on this sliding catch, and then after the fact, kind of thinking a little bit about a Lambeau leap. We'll see if he finishes that off. Glantz, the touchdown for Lindenwood. Nate Glantz getting into the end zone, and that's the Lions scoring. They missed the PAT there. Those are the touchdowns. A couple of field goals for App State, as we mentioned. The most recent one, a 24-yard attempt by Dominic DeFreitas, the freshman good on his first 4. He was the #5 high school kicker in the country by Coles. That is a kicker review service that is owned by, wait for it, the father of J.J. Cole.
Wow.
I don't know that you've ever had like a teammate's dad judge your kicking prowess before, but that's happened now. We've got at least one amount of evidence of that. He was the #6 kicker in the nation by ESPN, so somebody else thought he was pretty good too. Great to have DeFreitas in the Mountaineer black and gold, and he has shown pretty good connectivity thus far.
So DJ, there's so many scouting reports, so many reports out there.
Yep.
How do you decide which one to go read?
I don't know. The one that's higher wins. so yeah, J.J. Kolstad gets the trophy on this one. His scouting service, though, has connected kickers with programs all over the country for years, and is kind of thought to be, not only from a coaching perspective, but also ranking talent, one of the best in the nation. Nate Glantz trying to get the Lindenwood offense going. Lindenwood actually gained -13 yards in the third quarter. We talked about App State's defense really ratcheting up the pressure. Well, they certainly did, to the point of negative productivity for Lindenwood to start the second half.
And you know, when the defense can do that, that says a lot about what they term sometimes complementary football. The offense has not been as efficient. Balls are being dropped, a couple turnovers, but your defense continues to play well to keep you in the football game. So again, that's just good complementary football there.
Handoff goes to Woods this time, up across the 35-yard line. Good enough to move the first down chains for Lindenwood. So their first down of the second half. Revius Woods, third ball carrier of the day for Lindenwood. From the 36 go the Lions. They've got to move quickly. Now 2 scores here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Lance gets a shotgun snap. A little bit of pressure on him. They heave the batted ball around, actually incomplete. Looked like a maybe a catch over on the sideline, but ping pong look off the Mountaineer defensive secondary. You know, just about all of them back there. Ethan Johnson in on the breakup.
He threw in a triple coverage, but he rolls out to the right side, really limiting his options on where he's going to throw the football, because you can't throw it back across your body. So again, he has to throw into what, triple or quadruple coverage there.
App State with 6 sacks in this game. That ties an FBS era record that was set against Arkansas State in 2020. So one more sets a school mark. There's Glantz on second down. Gets rid of the football. That's a rolling catch by Rico Bond. And they'll say it hit the ground first. Incomplete pass brings up third down and long. Rico Bond has had quite the day. He's been targeted now 8 times. He's got 5 catches for 74 yards.
Yeah, he's been very active, and you know, we knew coming into the football game that Rico Bond and Drew Probath, as well as you know, John Anthony, another receiver who's 6'4", they had big weeks last week, and you probably expected a little more from John Anthony and Probath, but Rico Bond has come as advertised. He's been very, very productive today.
That's with the play action fake. Steps up in the pocket, going to try to run for the first down to the 42-yard line. Comes up about 3.5, maybe 4 yards short.
I tell you, Nate Glantz is a tough customer. As you can see, when he decided to run, he was authoritative with his decision, and he looks for contact. Now, he probably knows this is his senior year, and you know, last year organized football, so he's going to give it everything that he has and not leave anything on the field. But if Lindenwood's going to have a good season, he may want to slide sometimes to stay healthy. But he runs in an authoritative manner when he decides to run it.
A.J. Vinatieri to punt this football away. Bit of a low snap. Barnes will call fair catch. And the Mountaineers will have it with 11:47 to go. App State with a chance to drive a wedge here, up 20-6 on Lindenwood and Boone. (20-6) App State on top of Lindenwood. David Jackson, Avery Hall with you from Kid Brewer Stadium. Picturesque day. The clouds came, the rain never did, or at least not yet. We were quite nervous, actually. The weather forecast right before kickoff was not advantageous for fan enjoyment. And the mountains sometimes knock down those things as they come across. And that's exactly what happened today. So a pretty pleasurable day here at the Rock. Dowell Logan said last week his team needs to learn how to finish. Well, this is finishing time for App State. 11:47 to go in the fourth quarter. Up 2 touchdowns trying to ice this thing against the Lions of Lindenwood as Rashad DeBinion gets his 20th carry of the day. And out across the 15-yard line to the 16. Picks up about 8 more to his tally. He's nearing 160 yards on the day. Still averaging, as he has been pretty much all game, right at about 8 yards a clip. Second down and short. DeBinion takes off, flag on the play. This one could be coming back as he gets the first down up across the 26.
I tell you, you know, DeBinion runs, like I said, he runs bigger than the 210 frame that he has. Looks like maybe holding by Appalachian.
Illegal formation.
Actually, illegal formation. A lot of motion, a lot of shifting. So
replay second down.
That'll create some mistakes at times. But anyway, DeBinion he's 210, but he runs bigger. In this second half, he's shown a lot of vision too. Now we saw great balance and vision at UNC Charlotte last week, but he's done a good job with his cuts, putting his foot in the ground and cutting back. And one thing I can say about him, DJ, I've not seen him lose yards yet.
Didn't lose any last week either. Second down and long on the penalty. Binion again. It's the right side carry back up across the 17-yard line, so he picks up about 5 more. Check out the penalty difference there. Whistles and flags thrown more in the direction of the black and gold of Appalachian State. On this day will be a point of emphasis, I'm quite sure, come Monday. Cummings in motion. Swan gets a snap on third down and long. Rolling still, pump fakes, cuts inside, and may have enough for the first down. He's up across the 20, just to the near side of the 21. And indeed, will move the chains. That was a bigger conversion than you would think it would be at this stage of things.
Well, really, it was gutsy play by Swan, and really a high IQ play, because he knew exactly where the first down marker was, and he made a point to cut back to try and get there before he dropped down. So good job by A.J. Swan.
And also makes some more clock time bleed here as Isaiah Cummings gets the catch and releases in the backfield. Still spinning his way and gets about 12 yards total on the play up across the 33-yard line. And that's a Mountaineer first down. Isaiah Cummings, an interesting story. He actually has played his entire football career in the state of Kentucky prior to this. He was at Kentucky for a few years, then transferred to Louisville. That's what got him here. His offensive coordinator at Kentucky is Liam Cohen, who is now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And for you Mountaineer fans out there that like trivia, the 2006 starting quarterback for the UMass team that App State played against in the title game. So you got Liam Cohen as a NFL head coach. You got Flacco still playing. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit. And Eric Sanders, the Northern Iowa quarterback from 2005, he was a high school coach in Florida for years. Richie Williams is jacking up cars on NASCAR circuit. Armani Edwards is training people and doing all kinds of things. So the 5-year run of quarterbacks for those 3 national championships, all doing something pretty special still, as one would think they might.
And they're all highly successful.
And all probably hitting up Liam Cohen for tickets. Here's a ball that pops loose. Lindenwood saying they've got the football. And they do. That is the 4th turnover of the day for App State, and it gives Lindenwood life with 9:15 to play in the game. So that figuring out a way to finish teams off will have to be something that
take a
App
look.
State looks at again.
Pretty good run, good running behind his pass. He tries to create more of an opportunity, manufacture more yards. Sometimes you just have to go down, particularly when you get in a heavy traffic area. A lot of people grabbing at that football. Sometimes you just need to go down, but really trying to gain additional yardage, he lost the football.
So now that App State defense back out on the field. They've been out 27 minutes today. More importantly, Lindenwood down 2 touchdowns with the ball in App State territory and 9:15 to play. All 3 timeouts available to them too. Nate Glantz going to have to go into attack mode here a bit.
That's coming back.
Flag on the play as Glantz takes off down the far sideline, and a flag thrown in the vicinity of holding back at midfield.
You actually had one of the right tackle holding the defensive end there. And it was a product, DJ, of Glantz, his mobility, him trying to roll out a little bit, and sudden movement, which when he made that sudden movement, the D lineman to get in that way, instinctively the offensive lineman grabbed him.
Nate Glantz spent part of his career, he's been 4 places, we talked about that earlier, but one of those places was Iowa State. He actually left Iowa State before J.J. Cole of Appalachian State ended up there. He kind of passed in the hallway, so to speak. Glantz off his back foot. Gets to Rhodes out of the backfield, back across midfield. And Lindenwood nearly negates all the penalty yardage.
You know, it's interesting when we look at all of these depth charts now, and it's not to besmirch any of these kids because they're following opportunity and doing what they think is best for them. But it's just so amazing the number of stops some of these kids have had.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Nate Glantz, and again, this is not discounting him or not, because he's playing really good football and he's played 2 good years of so far at Lindenwood. But I mean, he was at Iowa State, he was at McNeese, he was at Iowa Western. I mean, you know, you wonder, are these kids on track to graduate? Because are these classes, are these courses transferring? Because they're going to 3 or 4 different schools.
Drew Corbath on the catch, keeps Nate Glantz's drive alive. That'll bring up 3rd down and 1 here. So again, Lindenwood shaking off the penalty and now a yard away from a key 3rd down conversion. 8 minutes to go, down 14. I think gone are the days of the 4-year quarterback.
Yep.
And I think we've seen evidence of that at every level of college football, not just Division I. Big opportunity here for Lindenwood. App State defense looking for a stop. 3rd and 1. Glance hands to Rhodes, trying to get the corner. Stiff arms, the tackler doesn't get the corner. App State strings it out. Thomas Davis, one of the disruptors.
Tell you what, penetration by the defensive line. Penetration will stymie any run attack, particularly if you got a linebacker running downhill. Take a look. Defensive lineman do a good job of stuffing the lineman. Linebacker runs downhill, makes a great stop.
The rare 4th down bell ringing here at the Rock. Ball game play here for Lindenwood. They got to have it to stay in it. Glance with a 4th down and 3 to convert. 2 receivers underneath. Glance looking that way on the slant. That ball is caught. 1st down gain. That's Bond, I believe, on the spinning grab inside the 35-yard line. What a grab by Rico Bond. How many times have we said that today?
He's a great football player. And look, he does a good job of getting inside the DB and position his ball where that he could make that catch and, you know, to kind of defend the ball from being knocked down.
Glance goes to Fugett over on the sideline. To the numbers on the 20. Tackled in a heap. 14-yard gain and a Lindenwood 1st down. Clock rolling inside. 6:20 to play in the game now.
And nice little touch throw there. Really too much cushion when you're down inside the 30, but I guess that's designed that way. But good throw, good catch.
Time becoming to be a factor a bit. So we're inside 6 minutes. Glance with Jared Rhodes behind him in protection. 3-step drop. Pressure starting to come. Long throw across the field is complete. Stiff arm and hopping out of bounds is Jalen Smith. 2nd time he's been targeted today. Picks up nearly 7 yards. We'll call it 6. Brings up 2nd down and 4.
You know, when we were talking with Coach Stuger, you know, he put a lot of emphasis on, excuse me, competition, effort. And he was like, he's got to figure out and develop his leaders. Who's going to be the next set of leaders? And I think, you know, throughout this football game, I think he's found some leaders. I think he's found some guys who are going to play hard for him. And I think it bodes well for him as they head into their conference schedule against Charleston Southern, you know, UT Martin, Tennessee Tech, Gardner-Webb, and all those guys.
It was a fake handoff and a fake pass. Glance tried to cut back to the 15-yard line and lost a yard on the play. Yeah, conference play starts next week for Lindenwood against Charleston Southern. Buccaneers down in suburban Charleston, North Charleston is I think what you would call that. Voice of the Mountaineers now, Adam Witten and I spent an extra day in North Charleston one time with a broken down car right outside of Charleston Southern University.
Did y'all go to Folly Beach while you were down there?
We did not. We didn't have a car. We couldn't go there. 3rd down and 5. Another key stop opportunity here for the App State defense. Lindenwood converted a 4th down to get to this point. Shotgun snap to Glance. Bouncing, in trouble, down he goes. That's 7 sacks of the quarterback today for App State defense. A new FBS era record. And Aiden Benton is the one that cements it in the record books.
Tell you what, just good effort. Take a look. Both got good pressure from the inside. You got great pressure from the outside. And Nate Glance just turns and runs into a daggone wall. Didn't even see the defensive end coming.
4th down opportunity for Lindenwood. Again, another ball game play with 4 minutes and rolling left. Lindenwood's tried 2 4th downs today. They're 1 of 2. They're taking a lot of time here. Down to 4 on the play clock. And now Lindenwood's going to have to burn a timeout. Boy, those are precious seconds that Jed Stugert's not going to have an opportunity to get back. We're going to take a break with him. Back with this 4th down conversion when we come back to Boone. 20-6, Lindenwood in the red zone here at the Rock. 4th down and 14, the call for Lindenwood. 3:47 to play here in the contest. Lindenwood needs this 4th down conversion to keep their hopes alive. Tightly contested football game here this afternoon after App State got out to a hot start. Lindenwood has converted 1 4th down on this drive already, trying to get a second to give themselves a chance down 14. Nate Glantz in the shotgun. He's got Jared Rhodes off to his right. Glantz to try to convert with pressure coming. There's a flag on the play. Glantz running all the way back to Blowing Rock in the process of heaving this football late. And it is caught in the end zone.
It's coming back. It looks like it's going to be hold on Lindenwood.
That was a catch made by Bond. He's not letting that ball go. That was thrown from midfield. Boy, hold everything here. Rico Bond caught the football. There was no signal of touchdown. There was a flag on the play.
Result of the play is a touchdown. Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, penalties decline.
Wow.
How about that? So the result of the play is a touchdown on a miracle heave by Nate Glantz. Watch it again.
Again, he does a good job of avoiding the rush. I mean, look, he almost loses it right here. And I wonder if his knee touched the ground, but he just heaves it. Look how, that's a duck, man. That ball is wobbly. And Bonds just does a good job of going up and getting a 50-50 ball. That's
about
that's want to.
Bond?
That is purely want to right
15
there.
yards, untimed down.
So the PAT, and it's an important one here by Will Graham,
is under video review.
They're going to review, and Avery, I don't know that they're not going to look at the knee contact.
Yeah, because he slipped, and it looked awfully close, but I can't sit here with my poor vision and say that his knee touched the ground, but it looked, I mean, it was awfully close. But I will tell you, Rico Bond is a player.
They're actually looking more at the catch than they are anything else.
He's a player, 6'1", 175. He's a redshirt freshman, and you hate to be negative, but with the way he's playing, he may be playing himself into an opportunity somewhere else next year. That's just the way.
See the ball kind of come to the ground there. The question is that good enough? Is that good enough video evidence?
Yeah, he may be playing himself into a good opportunity somewhere at an FBS school, but he's had a heck of a ball game.
Rico Bond, if this play stands, it's a 24-yard catch from 48 yards away. I mean, he retreated. Glantz retreated by 20 yards.
Touchdown.
So the touchdown is upheld. Credit Bond for an amazing catch. 7 catches for 102, and Nate Glantz with a Chase Bryce-like heave toward the end zone that wasn't tipped. That was caught clean. So now it goes back to Will Graham, who's missed a PAT already today. He missed one last week. He needs this one. Good snap, hold down, kick, straight through the pipes. We got a 7-point game here at the Rock with 3:34 to go. App State with the ball and an opportunity to finish it off. But boy, oh boy, there are some nervous folks here at Kid Brewer Stadium with an App State team that's turned it over 4 times to 5 times today.
Well, and that's why, you know, there are some nervous folks, DJ. But if you truly go back and you look at this tape, you'll clearly discern that, one, the dislodged ball by Strowman for the touchback started a psychological slide. Since then, you've had the 4 turnovers, you've had 5 or 6 drop passes. So you say 20 to 13. At least there are some coachable actionable things that you can go back and do after this week.
How about Lindenwood today? 2 of 2 in the red zone. Last week they were 1 of 5. And again, Lindenwood's goal, their one watchword of the week was finish. Finish drives, finish plays. They finished both of the red zone opportunities today. And they have finished with some gusto. At one point in time, looking like the physical toll was really starting to set in, where Lindenwood has bounced right back to put themselves within a touchdown. 4 turnovers by App State today.
You know what's really resonating right now with me? Do you remember when we were talking to Coach Stugart? He said,
onside kick opportunity. Ball pops loose, and it's recovered by Lindenwood right in front of their own sideline.
You remember he said to us, he said, everyone knows the Michigan Appalachian story. He goes, we would like to have a story like that after this football game.
Check out this onside kick again. That took an awkward bounce up and over Caden Hamlin.
Lindenwood recovered the onside kick.
Now, if you're a player, that is the slowest rolling ball in America, and it looks like it's moving fast, but when you're down there, you feel like you can't get to that football fast enough. Good hustle play by number 40 there.
So now Lindenwood down 7 with 2 of its timeouts and 3:28 to play, with an opportunity to tie it. App State's defense played so well in the 3rd quarter, got pushed back a little bit there on that last drive. Let's see how DJ Smith's squad answers the bell. Here's Glantz across the middle. Ball is tipped up and falls incomplete. Boy, that was about a step away from Jaden McBurrows picking that ball off and giving App State a save.
Good pressure. You know, really, hard for him to step into it. Good job defensively, keeping that long arm between the receiver, between the quarterback and the receiver, knocking that down.
Ethan Johnson gets credit for the deflection. And Jaden McBurrows nearly had a second Mountaineer interception. 2nd down and 10. Lindenwood with the ball back on an onside kick. Down 7. Glantz, little swing pass to Rhodes, trying to get out of a tackler and brought down in the backfield. Jared Rhodes couldn't get away, and that's McBurrows, the redshirt junior. Speaking of Michigan, he played at Michigan, said when he got here it was surreal to see all of the pictures in the hallways. He's a guy that played in Michigan's national championship year. Injured last year, trying to make an impact. 3rd down and 12. After Lindenwood's onside recovery, they've gone back -2 yards. They've converted 2 4th downs here in the 4th quarter, though, so don't say they're out of it just yet. 3rd and 12. Glantz, pump fake, release to Rhodes again. Down the sideline and gets out of bounds inside the 45. They'll mark him at the 43.5, and that'll leave Lindenwood about 9 yards shy of a 1st down.
So 4th and 7, 4th and 8, and this play call is critical, because this is going to be probably your ball game. If you don't get it, it's ball game. But this is going to be interesting to see what Coach Havorka calls the offensive coordinator of Lindenwood.
Rusty Havorka, been the offensive coordinator for these Lions for 9 years. Been with Jed Stugart for longer than that. Now a whistle and a stoppage, and that is the 2-minute warning. We'll take a break.
Thank you.
More drama on the other side. 1 possession game here in Boone. rock. 20-13, fourth down try for Lindenwood. They need it for the ball game right here. They've got to get the football to the 36-yard line of App State territory. 4th down and 7 is the call. One possession game. App State trying for the icer. Lindenwood trying to keep this game alive. Here's Glantz with the shotgun snap. Pressure starting to come to him as he rolls out. He's got some opportunity. There's a flag down. The pass is thrown. It's picked off. Picked off and a knee down, but hold it all. There's a flag down in the backfield. If that's holding, this game is pretty much over. The interception by Elijah McCantos, who was ineligible for the first half due to the targeting. How about welcome to the game, Elijah?
Well, in the genesis of that stop, if it's a stop and this penalty is on
Result of the play is an interception.
Lindenwood, which it looks like it is.
Offense number 59.
Appalachian did a good job of
first down, App State.
Stunning and changing alignment on the front end, showing blitz, which kind of confused the offensive lineman a little bit, and then they subsequently put pressure on the quarterback, flushed him out of the pocket, making for an errant throw. Good play by Appalachian's defense.
So now Lindenwood with 2 timeouts left after the interception, and that goes to Elijah McCantos. That's his first of the year, first of his career, as a matter of fact. Again, was out of the first half due to targeting last week against Charlotte. Got more time as the second half went on against the what could be game-clinching interception. Lindenwood's got 2 timeouts. App State needs to move the chains. Swan with a motion man. App State needs to hold on to the football as much as anything. They've had some problems with that today. Here's another pile of defenders trying to strip the ball loose from Dubinion, I believe. That is Dubinion. That's his 23rd carry of the day.
Lindenwood.
He picks up 4 and brings up second down. We'll check the interception one more time. There's just a lot going on. Credit Glantz for getting free. Obviously, the hold helped with that.
Yeah, again, that lot of pressure up front from the middle, forcing them outside.
There's McCantos.
You know, you're excited about the interception, but sometimes, you know, in that scenario, a lot of defensive coordinators will tell their guys to knock the ball down. And that's what happened with the touchdown when Rico Bond caught it. Instead of, you know, trying to knock it down there, somebody was trying to catch it. Sometimes it's better to knock that ball down.
Well, and I think you credit McCantos for going down. It wasn't like he tried to return that. 12 games in his career at Illinois. He's got some football savvy to him. He showed it at the right time. So Lindenwood with 1 timeout left, 1:45 to go. Second down at 6. It's the play call for Dowell Loggins and App State. Swan hands off to Dubinion. Takes off on the left side, has the first down. Up across the 30 to the 31. The Mountaineers can roll this clock to about the minute mark. And that's exactly what they'll do. A.J. Swan very slowly back to the line. Dubinion's pick up there for 9, give him 189 yards on 24 carries. Just an unbelievable game. 5 on the play clock. Swan from the shotgun. Gives to Dubinion. Pushing through tacklers again. Picks up 6 yards on second effort. Lindenwood letting the clock roll for right now.
DJ, if we had said before this game that Appalachian would have over 215 yards rushing, over 500 yards of total offense, but only win 20-13, or, you know, hopefully that'll probably be the final score, you'd probably say what transpired. Well, what transpired would be those 4 turnovers, and those you can't enumerate for it, but those 5 or 6 drop passes that would have changed the complexion of this football game.
App State goes with that victory formation look. Swan will take the knee. Lindenwood will call the timeout. They will call the timeout. With 13 seconds left. And this may be an opportunity for Jet Student here to circle his guys up and say, you know what? Last week was tough. You guys came in here and showed us something, and the expectations, I think, for the Lindenwood Lions have shot through the roof in the eyes of their head coach. what a response from 1 week to the next. I think on the other side of that, Dowell Loggins has plenty to go back and show as progress in areas, but it's going to come down to a couple of key things. 4 turnovers and 9 penalties again, and those are going to be the points of emphasis before App State starts conference play themselves next week against Southern Miss.
And maybe the best medicine for this Appalachian football team as they head into a week where they had to play a tough, scrappy Southern Mississippi football team that has 30 transfers from Marshall, a team that won the conference last year, went 7-1 in the conference. And so you're going to have your A game on next week. But again, you even omitted the 5 or 6 drops, and I hate to keep harping on that, but those took touchdowns off the board, and touchdown opportunity drives. So Coach Loggins has a lot to coach through, and this Lindenwood team, they should leave here with a bunch of confidence.
Well, that'll do it. The final 5 will roll off, and App State gets a hard-fought win, 20-13. The first 2-0 start for App State since the 2019 season, as they try to keep that alive next week down at Southern Miss. Avery Hall, your final thoughts on this one?
A lot to get. Coach Loggins has a lot that he can lean on, and he'll have a lot of room to coach and can make sure this team is prepared for Southern Mississippi. Lindenwood, as they head to Charleston, they should have a lot of confidence. This football team definitely got better from week 1 to week 2. Really turned out to be a good football team if you didn't care who won or if you didn't care about mistakes and penalties and turnovers. But both of these teams are heading in the right, not necessarily heading in the right direction, but have a lot of momentum as they head into big ball games.
Rashad DeBinion, 25 carries for 194 yards today, leading App State. Nate Glantz finished 20 of 36 passing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, 217 yards on the day. App State moves to 2-0. The Mountaineers undefeated as they head down to Southern Miss next week. That's going to do it for us here from Kid Brewer Stadium. For our producer, Omar Elmore, and our analyst, Avery Hall, and our entire fantastic crew here in Boone, this is David Jackson saying so long from the Rock, where App State holds off Lindenwood 20-13. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, and we say good night from the Rock.